game. They will have to play another tonight at 7:30. Hello again, everybody. I'm Ron Thulin. First pitch of the game to Jarrett. Another home run for Zach Jarrett. He hit a 3-run home run versus UTSA the other night. He gets a solo jack now. What a way to start. Jonah Patton did not have a chance to settle down before Zach Jarrett, the son of legendary NASCAR driver Dale Jarrett, jacks it, and that was a shot.
This is going to be a USM favored crowd, and that's one way to shut them up early. First pitch of the game, over the net, over everything to left field. That was a shot.
Eric Bramer joining us here at MGM Park in Biloxi, Mississippi, home of the Milwaukee Brewers AA team, the Biloxi Shuckers. Eric, one of the play-by-play guys. Good to have you with us again, and what a start, huh?
Great to be here. This is going to be an exciting afternoon. I'm used to saying morning because we had a morning game here, but afternoon of baseball with a good crowd on hand. Here's hoping for a competitive game.
I'll tell you what, that was a shot by Jarrett, just like his shot versus UTSA, 2 for 2. As Netzer came in batting .365, gets the base hit. Jonah Patton on the mound, 1-1 on the season. He was a closer at the beginning of the year as we take a look at his pitch to Netzer. Or I should take that back. Steve Powers for Southern Miss came in at 3-0. 26 games, 1 start, 12 walks, 23 Ks. Kind of an up and down year for him. Didn't even have a chance to settle down. Squaring to bunt, fouled it off, out of play. Here's JT Nichting, the right fielder. Number 3 in career doubles in Charlotte history. Led Conference USA batting average at .380 for the season.
Southern Miss is a very good baseball team. That's been in evidence after they lost their first game. They've battled all the way back, but don't shortchange this Charlotte team. They put together the most ambitious schedule in program history, and they came out on the other side. They have earned their 4 seed in this tournament.
And they're the top hitting team in the tournament. And we already have seen that. Charlotte opened the tournament beating Louisiana Tech. Final on that game was 7-2. And then on Thursday night, Charlotte racked up another game, another win, beating UTSA. The final of that game was 5-0. They come in as a team batting .349. That UTSA game, they came out slugging. C.J. Pickering was pitching for UTSA, was doing a pretty good job, but all of a sudden you look up and Charlotte's got a bunch of hits, home runs, and they win the ball game.
You're only as good as your starting pitcher, so it's on Stevie Powers to provide some solid innings for Southern Miss. Of course, their aim is to win this tournament, and if they are going to do so, they have 2 more games after this. They need Powers to go deep into this game.
Well, they didn't play yesterday. Southern Miss obviously did, and they had an impressive game against UTSA last night. The crowd, it was large and it was loud, and it's getting bigger right now on Memorial Day weekend. Not quite as big as it was last night, but the majority of the shirts are the Southern Miss colors. Fouled out of play for T.J. Nichting. Charlotte finished the regular season, or right now they're 34-22, finished the conference play at 18-12. Top 2 hitters for them, the first 2 hitters, have 8 RBIs in the tournament between Jarrett and Netzer. Already seen Jarrett get another one. Southern Miss has played more Conference USA tournament games than anybody else. They've won at least 1 in all 22 years they've been in the tournament. Runner goes, pitch slapped to the right side. Guidry was moving over but still was able to recoup and get back. And 1 down in the inning, but Netzer moves over to second.
That is an underrated play by Guidry, because when the hit and run is in action, you take another look here on the replay, he was headed towards second base, and not only did he have to get back in position, he had to field the ground ball too. And it's sometimes tough to read the hops going from the grass to the dirt there when you're not looking at it straight on.
Here's how good Matthew Guidry is down at second base. He has only 1 error this entire season. There's Jackson Mims. Yeah, really, a second baseman. Jackson Mims, 325 on the season with a runner on second. And the fans finally got something to cheer about. 39 RBIs for Jackson Mims. The redshirt sophomore out of Shelby, North Carolina, spent some time at East Carolina. And the left-hander, good breaking pitch.
Fans continuing to stream in here. I'm guessing by the end of the second or third inning, we'll have a pretty good crowd on hand.
It was the largest crowd that Southern Miss had played in front of in this stadium. They have played in this stadium before. Popped up out of play, right side. Now Rice, they made it to the championship game. And for the sixth time in 12 years, they went 3-0 to reach the Conference USA title game. They'll be in the title game for the 9th time in 12 years, but what was more impressive, the win today earlier against FAU put them over 500. First time since the opening game of the year. Of course, it's well chronicled how bad Rice started out the season, had some injuries. Never could get it going. In April at one point, they were in last place in the conference. Now they're playing for the championship game tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
You and I saw in game one today the impact that an early run can have on a game. Rice put up 2 runs in the top of the first inning, and they pretty much took off from there.
I think we've seen it throughout the tournament that the team that strikes first gets instant momentum. Pitch. A little bit low. Count goes to 2-2. Netzer down at second. Nichting up at the plate. Leads the team in RBIs with 47 this season. Two-two offering.
Well, he's missing low, and you'd rather miss low than up. You saw from the Rice offense what happens when you miss up. Especially in this ballpark, the ball seems to be flying today.
Well, the sun finally broke through. It was a very cloudy day. It's more humid than it has been the previous 3 afternoons.
Up to 83 degrees.
Powers his pitch. Left side, Hadley picks it up, and he's going to get the runner in a rundown. The flip, and Netzer will be tagged out.
It's a well-executed rundown. The aim for Netzer once he got caught off base was to get in a rundown long enough to allow the trail runner, Mims, to get to second base. But Southern Miss executed this to perfection. They brought him back to second base, and they kept Mims from going and taking his place.
I think that's underestimated with the point you just made is they wanted to see if Mims could get down to second, but they forced him. They forced Netzer to go back to second. Here's Logan Shearer, the big first baseman, comes in hitting .266 on the season. He's had some outstanding defensive plays in the tournament thus far. Big sweeping breaking pitch from the left-hander.
We're in the catbird seat, and we can see right down the center of the field. That ball had some lateral movement to it.
It did. 325 down the lines, 350 in the alleys, 400 straightaway center, catching the corner. Winds picked up a little bit, blowing directly in from the Gulf. And day one, the wind was blowing more towards left field. 5 home runs in the opening game. And the ball really carried. The humidity was down in that game. Pitch. Got him. Stevie Powers gives up a leadoff home run. First pitch to Zach Jarrett. And they have a great defensive play to get Netzer. We've played a half an inning. Charlotte leading Southern Miss 1-0. Welcome back to MGM Park in Biloxi, Mississippi, right across the street from the Beau Rivage Hotel and Casino and down the street from the Hard Rock. There's a good look at Jonah Patton. As we mentioned earlier this season, he was the closer. And because of injuries and players not living up to expectations, they moved him into the starting job. He's got a hard slider, pretty good fastball. He'll tap out at about 94 miles per hour. But when you talk to the coaching staff, the thing that stands out, he must control the strike zone, especially with his fastball.
It all keys off the fastball, and especially against a good lineup like USM has, he needs to establish it early, inside and outside, to keep the batters off balance.
Conference USA Player of the Year, Dylan Boudreau, got his 100th hit for this season last night. Salty hitter, comes in batting .366. Had a big-time hitting streak up until UT San Antonio, where he was batting .486. The last 54 at-bats prior to that, strike two is called. It's pretty good Charlotte defense. In 2 games in the conference tournament, they've given up 2 earned runs, 22 strikeouts, only 2 walks by their pitching staff. Patton rocks and delivers, and that's a big strikeout, getting Berto to go down.
Certainly a better start to the afternoon than what we saw in the top of the inning. First pitch out to left field, so it's good. We'll see if Patton can continue to build off that. We've got 2 starting pitchers who don't have a whole lot of starting experience this season. Patton making his 4th start, and Powers on the other side making just his 2nd. It's a reality of playing in tournaments like this.
Absolutely. Mason Irby squared around the butt, showed it, pulled it back. Southern Miss, number 11 in D1 baseball in the rankings, number 12 in USA Today. I think everybody agrees they're assured to go in the NCAA tournament. The question is, will they host a regional? Catching the outside corner. Good job by Patton. This is an offense, Southern Miss. 12 hits last night versus UTSA. They were free swinging, to say the least. You're wondering why Southern Miss is the home team. They were the top seed in the tournament, but they were coming from the losers bracket. It was determined the team that had the least amount of home team names. In other words, they haven't been home team enough. They're the home team today. There's a whole bunch of rules on that.
And if we play another game tonight, I would imagine the roles will be flipped and Charlotte would be the home team. I think. I don't know.
We will definitely check on that. But if Charlotte wins, that'll be a moot point. Once again, if Southern Miss wins, they'll take about a 4-hour or so break, come back at 7:30. And if Southern Miss does win this game and they play tonight at 7:30, the buzz around here is this place will be standing room only.
I believe it.
About an hour from Hattiesburg. Southern Miss gets their first base runner on. Irby will trot down. He is a threat to steal. He's 6 of 8 so far on the base paths this season, and that brings Taylor Braley up. Number 1 in Conference USA on base percentage. You know, you look at this Southern Miss team, there's not very many weaknesses. First 5 hitters all hitting over 300, and then you go down to number 8 and 9, and they are also over 300.
It's great to have those second and third leadoff hitters at the bottom of the lineup, especially when you have speed like Boyd, who has 10 stolen bases in the 9 spot.
That opens up so many possibilities for you offensively. They also hit with power. 81 home runs this season for Southern Miss, the most since 2006. Pop fly, left field. Jarrett drifting to his right, still drifting. The wind's got it, makes the catch.
It's a great play down the line. One of the nice things about MGM Park is we have a very generous warning track area, so the players can know if they're approaching the wall. Look at how big that warning track is down the line. He was feeling for a wall that wasn't there, but he knew that he had room to make that catch for out number 2.
But how far did he have to run? He was lined up just to the left of the 350 sign on the wall. That was probably a good 25, 30 yards. He had a sprint to get there. Here's Matt Wallner, a very talented freshman. All freshman team coming in batting .335. Number 2 in on-base percentage in the conference. This young man's so talented, he's been invited to the USA baseball training camp this summer. Big kid. Outstanding fielder and hitter.
Kind of an interesting story. He was a highly touted prep prospect out of Minnesota. Was going to go to UND, North Dakota, and then their program folded. So USM scooped him up. He kept growing, and he's turned into quite the ball player.
Talk about a guy that fell through the cracks. He's one of them.
Minnesota Twins drafted him out of high school.
1-1 pitch. Called strike.
From Forest Lake, Minnesota. Northeast Metro, take 35 up there.
You got that down, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I did have to glance at a map to get my bearings, but I played many a Legion game in Forest Lake.
Had to be in July and August, right?
Yeah, baseball season not as
It's
long
short,
up there.
Yeah. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts for Jonah Patton in the opening frame. Does give up a walk. We go to the top half of the second. Charlotte leading 1-0. Part of the crowd on hand today, and it's beginning to fill in, especially down the first baseline, third baseline. Starting to fill up also, but it's a bright sun, not a whole lot of cover here. Temperature's supposed to hover right where we are right now, about 83 degrees, but we do have a good breeze. Coming out off the golf, Scott Wilkerson, by the way, behind the plate. Shane Matheny at first base, Michael Mazzarisi down at second base, and Ryan Broussard at third base are umpires. Stevie Powers on the mound. First pitch of the game, he gave up the home run to Zach Jarrett. As Reese Hampton will kick things off here, top half of the second inning.
You mentioned the imbalance between the lines, and part of that is the fact that USM's playing. So that one's hit to short.
Boyd pickup, throws, kept his foot on the bag, and they got him.
Really nice play there. More on first base, Bordeaux with a great pick. That's an in-between hop that can sometimes eat up first baseman. We'll take another look here. Nice play deep in the hole. The throw on a hop. You don't mind that. It was a little off target, but nice scoop.
Bordeaux's had a couple of plays in this tournament where he's had to go high and still able to get the foot on the bag. He is a complete player down at first base.
You got a first baseman who can steal 20 bases. That's
exactly. That's a great point.
Good mix.
Hunter Jones, 307 on the season, the shortstop.
To complete the thought, that's not the entire story with the imbalance between the first and third base sides. When the shadows do come and the sun starts falling, so that one's lined into left field, a base hit. That'll be the first side to get some shadow cover. So that's where people tend to congregate during Shuckers games.
And it will come. We probably won't see it since there won't be a 4 o'clock game, and it'll be all covered up by 7:30. Hunter Jones will get to first base, brings up, it was supposed to be Zach Flanagan. Zach Flanagan is a pitcher. He was injured and was out for the year. They put him down as the DH, but they told us he's not going to bat. They just did it just to waste a little bit of time.
Seen that used in college games before. It's essentially an opportunity to put in the best pinch hitter for the situation. If it were bases loaded and nobody out, well, you might see someone different. But
well, it's going to be Zach Smith, the freshman, normally a catcher / infielder. He rips it down the right side. Hunter Jones will head to third. Up with the throw. Irby, but not before Jones makes it down to third. And Zach Smith comes in, gets the base hit.
Now that'll count as a pinch hit single, even though it probably shouldn't. Great piece of hitting. He knew what was coming on the first offering, and he hit it hard.
Zach Smith was batting .278. Once again, we'll clarify, Zach Flanagan was penciled in as the DH. That was nothing more than putting a name in a spot. He had no intention of batting.
I don't know if Flanagan would be able to swing a bat if he wanted to.
Well, that's from what we gather. You're right. Here's Harris Yet, the catcher, 3 of 6 hitting in the tournament. Has a little bit of a wide open stance, keeps the bat high. Kind of a lazy swing. Already 4 hits for Charlotte. Once again, if they win, there will be no other game today. As they will go to the championship game against Rice. Who would have thought that at the beginning of the week? Big breaking pitch. Powers doing a nice job on that, keeping Yet off balance. There's a great stat about Southern Miss. They had 15 quality starts in the first 3 months of the season, but 10 of 13 in May. And in the month of May, the starting pitchers have been 9-1 with a 1.52 ERA. Here's the one that gets me. 77 strikeouts, only 14 walks. Count evens, though, at 2-2.
Strike throwers are good. Especially in the college game. I mean, it's a very underrated trait to have. You have guys who can't throw strikes, and games get pretty long and high scoring.
That's what separates Southern Miss from a lot of the teams in this tournament. They do have a number of arms. They can withstand what they have to go through. 2-2 pitch. In the dirt, here comes the runner. Jones goes to score. They got him. Got him.
And there's some disagreement on that call. We'll take another look. From my vantage point, I thought that he might have gotten the leg in.
I thought so too. Lauren Hibbs, in his 25th year, over 700 wins for Charlotte, comes out and wants to talk about it. Here it is again. Boy, that is close. I think he slid the foot underneath there.
You credit Powers for sticking his right foot in front of the plate. It's getting into some gray area in terms of the rules, but he was able to shield home plate, and that might have been what the home plate umpire Scott Wilkerson saw.
Here it is again, maybe a little better angle. Still tough to see. I think the tag was a little bit up high. Now Lauren's got to go back to the dugout. And now there's 2 outs here in the top half of the second inning. In the process, though, Zach Smith moved over to second base. Yet settles back in. Full count, 3-2. Fouled out of play. One thing we got to mention, too, and you were talking about the ballpark, there's not a whole lot of room from the baseline either side or from home plate to the backstop. And we've seen a lot of times in this tournament where it will hit the backstop, but you expect it to bounce all over the place, and it really doesn't. I mean, it gives the catcher or whoever an opportunity to get the ball back.
It's a very intimate ballpark, but well padded behind home plate, save for the pitch clocks that are used in minor league baseball. So you expect a pretty true bounce coming back if it goes to the backstop.
Payoff pitch. Yet stays alive.
If and only if Southern Miss can get out of this inning, that play at the plate could be a huge momentum shift.
I think it is, because only one losing team in the tournament so far has been able to score more than 4 runs. The average score for the losing team has been just around 1.5, close to 2. Premium on scoring runs in this tournament, as we saw with Rice, who exploded in the last game. 3-2 pitch again. Looped into left field, going back, diving play, can't get it. Goes by Slater, 1 run will score, Yet will make his way down to second.
Slater got fooled by that, and I did too. That looked like it was in on the hands, but it's a testament to the strength of Yet that he was able to muscle that out into the gap, past Slater and to the wall.
I didn't think it was hit that hard.
No.
It didn't sound like it was hit that hard. Very deceiving, and Slater tried to make a diving catch, and it's 2-0 Charlotte on top. So how big was that play at the plate now?
Well, still pretty big, but at the very least, Charlotte was able to get 1 run on the board here in the second inning.
Here's Zach Jarrett, first pitch of the ball game. Zach rifled it out of the park. Of course, his dad, Dale Jarrett, NASCAR Hall of Fame. There he is sitting in the stands. Three-time Daytona champion, 1999 Winston Cup champion. How about this little trivia question? Dale Jarrett is also a partner with Brett Favre, who was on our air last night, with the Dale Jarrett Racing Adventure.
Very nice.
I don't see Favre sitting anywhere near him, so it's not that close of a partnership, obviously.
Shuckers' next homestand, we're doing pink jerseys to benefit Far for Hope, and Brett, I know, is a big part of this community in southern Mississippi.
Oh boy, he was great on our air last night. Had a good time talking with him. Jarrett fouls it out of play. 346 on the season. Had a 3-run home run versus UTSA. That broke that game open. He now has 5 RBIs in the tournament.
Righty Hayden Roberts is stretching out down the line for Southern Miss. Leash might not be too long for Stevie Powers.
Well, it is a humid day. Fouled out of play. Powers is already over 30 pitches, and we haven't completed the second inning. Yet on second after the double. Pitch to Jarrett. Slow roller left side. Hadley up with it. Bobbles it a little bit. Throw. High throw doesn't get it. Yet's going to come in. Jarrett heads to second.
That's a miscue by Hadley. Take another look here. I think he could have gotten the runner yet in between second and third. Once he bobbled it, he knew that he was going to have to hurry that throw, and it was because he hurried that he did not deliver it accurately.
That will be an error on Tracy Hadley. That hurts. You've got to play really smart baseball in the championships. That's his 13th error on the year. And now Jarrett at second base with 2 outs, 3-0 lead. Netzer the batter. Singled his first time up at bat. 9 total bases in the tournament. And Donaldson's going to go out and talk to Powers. Kind of surprised that Southern Miss got somebody up already. On deck, TJ Nickding. Crowd getting a little restless here. Squares around the bunt, drops it down. Powers picks it up, and that will do it. But not before Charlotte picks up a couple of more runs. 3-0 is our score. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors, no runs, no hits, 1 error for USM. Welcome back to MGM Park. I'm Ron Thulin along with Eric Braber. Glad to have you with us today. Eric, one of the voices of the Biloxi Shuckers AA club of the Milwaukee Brewers play inside this ballpark. Southern Miss finds themselves down in a 3-0 hole here as we go to the bottom of the second inning. In order for Southern Miss to get to the title game, they've got to win a couple of games today. Only one time Southern Miss has won 2 games to reach the finals. That was back in 2004, but they ended up losing to TCU. So they got a big row to hoe right now. Jonah Patton doing a good job taking on Hunter Slater, the left fielder. 3:01 on the year. Patton rocks and delivers. Shot into right center field. That is going to find the gap. Slater gets on his horse, heads to second, and he'll hold up there with a stand-up double. His 9th of the year.
Great piece of hitting and also great base running, too. He could have gone for third, but he knows that you don't want to make the first out at third base. Trailing by 3, this will give USM an opportunity to put something together.
Now they're coming in hitting 275 in the tournament, but that is a lot better than it was after the first 2 games, which was around the 240 mark. As Tracy Hadley will step up to the plate, 262, 1 home run, 20 RBIs. Southern Miss can win this game today. They would tie a single season record for wins in a season in Southern Miss history with 47. Hadley takes a big cut. 3-0 lead, or 3-0 deficit, I should say. It's not a big deal for Southern Miss. This is a team that can score runs, and they score them in bunches. On deck, Cole Donaldson. Hadley just held his stance on the inside pitch. We talked about in the first game how many hits batsmen we have seen, and we can see Hadley crowding the plate, back right foot as far back as you can go in the batter's box. I don't think he's going to move very much. Patton the 1-1.
Well, if you have to wear one to get to first base in these important games, I think every player is willing to do it. And if they're not, they certainly don't want to show that to their teammates, so they'll tough it out.
He doesn't have quite the body armor that a lot of the players have. Jarrett playing deep in left field. Hampton semi-shallow in center. Everybody else pretty much straight away. Pops it up, short pop up. Nichting coming over from right field, calls it. 1 down in the second.
Well, it was a good at bat, but not the great end result that Hadley was looking for. At the very least, you want to find a way to get that runner over to third. Was not hit well enough to the right side of the outfield to advance Slater onto third base. Now it'll be up to Donaldson to bring him home.
What's going to happen here in the next couple of hours, the sun will begin to move, and every catch will be an adventure in the outfield for these guys. Donaldson 281 on the year. Slater at second, 1 down. Tell you, this has been Chamber of Commerce weather this whole tournament. Tuesday we got here seemed a little dicey because of all the rain you guys had down here.
Yeah, there was some concern.
Woo. In fact, they wouldn't let the players work out Tuesday on the field. They sent them to high school places to work out, hit in batting cages, which every team was very impressed with the facilities they were sent to.
Shuckers had a 5-game set against the Chattanooga Lookouts that wrapped up Monday, and Saturday through Monday, all those games were in doubt. We ended up playing with just a few delays, but yeah, we got a lot of rain on this field. Looks like it's in great shape.
When the Lookouts and the Shuckers get together, throw out the record books. I've actually been to a Chattanooga Lookout game, believe it or not.
One of the more storied franchises
in
the Southern League. That's one of the great things about experiencing the Southern League. The Shuckers don't have a whole lot of team history unless you go back to their days in Huntsville, but so many teams, the Birmingham Barons, the Lookouts, the Jacksonville, now Jumbo Shrimp. They used to be the Suns.
I want to come back in my second life and name minor league teams.
It really is a revolution in minor league baseball.
1-2 pitch to Donaldson, follows it away.
And I wasn't a huge fan of the flashy names, but
yeah,
it certainly works.
Yes, it does.
The Jumbo Shrimp, There was a huge petition to change it back to the Suns. This is their first year as the Jumbo Shrimp, but merchandising has skyrocketed.
Exactly.
Ticket sales have gone up.
My
You see Shrimpin' Ain't Easy shirts all over Jacksonville, so
My favorite's the El Paso Chihuahuas.
that's a good one. I'm a Simpsons fan, so the Albuquerque Isotopes. That's
there you go. 1-2 pitch. Third strikeout of the ball game for Jonah Patton. 2 down in the inning. Hunter Slater opened the frame with a double, and that brings up Matthew Guidry. Take a look at this pitch again. Guidry, 4 RBIs in the tournament. He has been hot. 366. We talked about the hitters 8 and 9 batting over 300. Guidry and Lee Marcus Boyd both over the 300 barrier. Patton takes a look at the runner, taking his time. Patton looks at the runner. Just missing on the outside corner. We're talking about how potent this offense is for Southern Miss. Over 500 total runs this season. That's the first time since 2010. Looking at the Charlotte dugout, now they're trying to get guys to move over. They're getting Reese Hampton, the center fielder, to move to his left. Play more straight away. 2-0 pitch.
We have not seen too many pull shifts in either of the games today.
No.
That's something that I see more often than not in minor league baseball. There's obviously a lot more in terms of scouting in the minor league game, but might be more complete hitters down here in terms of hitting the ball to all fields as well.
Giving Slater a lot of room at second base with his leadoff. Finally get a strike. We've seen some interesting defensive schemes, though, by coaching staffs. A couple of times we've remarked on it. As soon as we remarked how odd it was, the batter would hit the ball exactly to where the player was moved to. We went, okay, you guys are smarter than us. We get it. Patton will just step off the mound.
Now, if they didn't know this coming into this tournament, the players by now certainly are aware that there are hits to be had to the opposite field in this ballpark. The ball carries quite well, yeah.
Guidry out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, draws the walk. Runners on first and second, 2 down here in the bottom half of the second inning. Lee Marcus Boyd coming in, hitting .303 on the season, 3 home runs, 17 doubles. Pitching coach is going to come out now for Charlotte.
Nobody warming. This is just kind of a calm down meeting, if that is such a thing.
Sean Doty will come out, wants to talk about it. Got the stopwatch hanging from the back pocket. Well, there's nobody warming up, so it's more of the case, settle down, throw strikes, trust the defense behind you. More of a pep talk. Unless you see the head coach come out, you're usually safe.
There's a nice little crowd congregating underneath the shade of the right field scoreboard. Seems like the place to be.
Patton, 31 pitches, 20 have been strikes so far. Have not completed 2 innings of play yet. This will wrap it up. There are the fans out there. Nice little picnic area.
Yeah.
See the kids playing also out there. That's been a favorite spot since day 1 of the tournament. Some kids playing baseball out there. Some kids throwing the football out there.
We've had a couple Bark in the Park nights for Shockers games. Those are always popular.
Pitch to Boyd. And all of a sudden, Patton who had 27 walks during the regular season, having trouble finding the strike zone. Runners on first and second, 2 down, bottom of the second. They put a little mustard on that. Boyd out of Coldwater, Mississippi. Went to Northwest Mississippi Community College. One pitch. Talk about the defensive formation. Jackson Mims down at third base. He's giving that line completely away.
And Patton is not afraid to throw inside. He's gotten a lot of swings and misses, but if a Golden Eagles batter connects on one and turns it around down that line, it could be an extra base hit.
Because you also have Jarrett playing well off the line in left field. Everybody's got to take a little time out. So much riding on this game. Charlotte wins. They go to the title game against Rice tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Southern Miss wins. These two teams will turn it around, meet again tonight at 7:30. Good job yet blocking the plate. Count goes to 2-2.
If it gets to a second game, you'd have to say that Southern Miss has the edge.
Oh, absolutely.
Behind the 8 ball here. They'd love to get on the board here in the second inning.
Hey, this place may be standing room only since it's a beautiful night. If they do make it to that game at 7:30. 2-2 pitch. Popped right side. Nichting camps underneath it. So Hunter Slater leads off the second with a double, but he is stranded. We have played 2. Charlotte leading top-seeded Southern Miss 3-0. Already Southern Miss making a pitching change as Hayden Roberts has replaced Stevie Powers on the hump. Interesting, they went this early. I didn't think Powers was pitching that badly, but Hayden Roberts comes in, 4-2 record. This will be his 17th appearance on the season. He had 10 starts, 4.52 ERA. Are you surprised that they pulled the plug already on Stevie Powers?
Maybe a little bit, but Roberts can give them some good innings. He's made 10 starts this year, as you said, so if they're hoping for Roberts to get them into the late innings, maybe you can come back with Powers tomorrow, maybe. I really don't know, but 5 hits in 2 innings, that kind of speaks for itself. Even though they weren't all well struck, he did not have an easy time of it.
Close the book on Powers. 2 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs. 2 of them were earned, 1 strikeout. T.J. Nichting grounded out, 4-3. This time 6-3.
It's a nice way to start your outing.
1 pitch, 1 out.
Rather than 1 pitch, 1 home run, which is how Powers started his day.
Good scoop job by Lee Marcus Boyd down there at shortstop. Boyd 15 errors on the season. That led Southern Miss, but not on that one. Here's Jackson Mims. Got on the fielder's choice back in the first. That was some heat on that. That was a pop we heard up here. That's a way to come in.
This home ground's looking for something to cheer for. Maybe Roberts can provide them with that on the mound.
Mims, the 6'3", 205-pound sophomore from Shelby, North Carolina. Hayden Roberts got away from him a little bit. You can afford to waste a pitch at that point. Roberts working quickly. Boyd scoops it up, second opportunity, and he makes good. So Hayden Roberts, the junior from Irvington, Alabama, and Alabama Southern Community College, playing in his second year for Southern Miss. 6 foot, 187 pounds. I love the way this young man works. Popped up, that'll be out of play. We've seen so many different paces the way pitchers work in this tournament. We have some that take forever. We've read the entire USA front page and business section by the time they threw. And others, you can't even read the headlines.
Well, it's not practical to do in all NCAA games, but after 2 months of experiencing the pitch clock in minor league baseball, it's you don't really notice it until it's gone, you know?
Exactly. I kind of like it. 0-2 pitch. Got him. Hayden Roberts comes in to start the third. Couple of ground outs and a strikeout. We go to the bottom half of the third inning, but it's still a 3-0 Charlotte lead. Conference USA brings you the first National Banking Association 2017 Conference USA Baseball Championship from MGM Park in lovely Biloxi, Mississippi. Glad to have you with us this afternoon. Temperature 83 degrees. Sun's peaked out even a little more. Along with Derek Bramer, I'm Ron Thulin. And Jonah Patton doing a pretty good job so far. He's only given up one hit as we head to the bottom half of the third inning. And the top of the lineup for Southern Miss, Dylan Bordeaux. Struck out in his first appearance back in the first. Number 2 in the NCAA in hits coming into this tournament. Slow sweeping breaking pitch. 35 multi-hit games for Bordeaux. He's fun to watch. Takes the strike. He was out at second base. I think it was yesterday's game. And he was dancing around so much he distracted the pitcher. Where the pitcher had to step off the mound, but you know, Dylan was bouncing up and down and going right and left. Gamesmanship, but it was fun to watch. To third, scooped up, Mims. Long throw.
Assuming that he plays and is successful at the next level, I'll be curious to see where Bordeaux ends up. First base is a great place to have someone with speed and power. And if he can stay there, he could be an asset to a team.
I agree 100% because he does have that speed. We've seen him hit for power, and he's a smart baseball player. Here's Mason Irby. 3 for 4 last night versus UTSA. Comes in batting .336, walked in his first appearance. Follows this out of play. Irby out of Meridian, Mississippi. Southeast Lauderdale High School. Finance major, good student. This is a Charlotte team that didn't wrap up a spot in the tournament until the final weekend when they swept Marshall. Been an interesting year for Charlotte, needless to say. Still finished at 34-22 on the season. Still 0-2. Taylor Braley on deck. First 3 batters opening inning, they only got a walk out of it. That coming by way of Irby. Patton did a nice job shutting him down in the first. I thought that was pretty close, Irby going around. See Reese Hampton in center field, shaded to his right, our left.
This has been a good at-bat by Irby. He's making Patton throw pitches. He's up to 40 now in the third inning.
And the temperature is up to 84.
That will be a factor, I would imagine.
I agree.
You stay hydrated in the dugout as best you can, but it can be pretty challenging.
This is the first day I think we felt the humidity here.
It's supposed to be overcast but dry tomorrow for the finale. Rice against one of these two teams.
Well, he pushes the count to 3-2. That'll be fouled out of play down the left field line. You see the stands have filled up a little bit. A lot of families here. That's fun to see. A lot of little kids, boys and girls with their parents. I think for all of us, especially you, since your father is a major league announcer, greatest times have been in the ballpark with your family.
Oh, yeah.
3-2 pitch. Lost him.
And there's nothing quite like being outdoors.
Oh, yeah.
I unfortunately spent the first 15 years
The
of my life
Metrodome.
watching baseball indoors,
Yeah.
but to be out in the elements, especially when it's nice out like this, there's nothing like it.
Mine was the first time Cleveland, the old Cleveland Municipal Stadium, the old Indians. You know, when Woody Held played. And
Mistake by the Lake?
you got it. Tito Francona, Daddy Wags, Leon Daddy Wags Wagner, and walking out and seeing that green grass. Wow. Can't remember my wife's name, but I remember that. Go figure. Ball one.
Credit to Will Larimore, our groundskeeper here. He's dealt with a nightmarish month of May, all the weather coming through at the beginning of hurricane season, and a lot of games. You know, when games are played on a field, it takes some wear and tear, and they've patched it up pretty nicely.
Got to keep an eye on Irby. He's only attempted 8 steals, but he's been successful on 6 occasions.
When was the last time you did a tarp pull?
Can't. I'm afraid that's dangerous. You done it?
Oh, yeah. It's a family affair in minor league baseball. We've got
love
a
it.
half dozen guys in the grounds crew, and so the front office folks have to help out. Sometimes I'm up in the broadcast booth, and I see them down there, and I'm like, well, should I run down 2 flights of stairs to join them or not? But I try and help out when I can.
That's good. Quick move. Herbie trying to get that extra inch on his leadoff. Braley the batter, Wallner on deck. Wallner very, very dangerous. Fouled out of play. One and two, one out here in the bottom half of the third inning. Charlotte led off the game the very first pitch of the contest with Zach Jarrett launching the home run. Picked up 2 more in the second. Southern Miss with only 1 hit in the ball game so far. Out of play again. So the Shuckers on the road tonight, huh, Jackson?
In Tennessee, but in Kodak, Tennessee.
Kodak, Tennessee.
Playing the Smokies, the Chicago Cubs AA affiliate. Smokies have taken the first 3 in that series. Shuckers, though, just 2 games back in the South Division.
Quick throw. Shear wasn't looking to make the tag. Shear has used every bit of his long 6+ feet body on a couple of plays this week in the tournament. Pretty good lead at first by Irby. Got him. I think that was an excuse me one.
Well, that was a swing that was almost entirely wrists. His wrists broke, but nothing else in his torso moved. I agree with the call that he went around, but what a peculiar swing. We'll take another look here.
Oh, yeah.
That was the wrists that did it.
It was like his forearms or his biceps were tied to the rest of his body. Here's Wallner with 2 down in the inning and a runner on first. Slices it down the left field line. That'll be foul. Mentioned Waldner's a big guy, 6'5", 220 pounds. Talked about being from Minnesota. They really listed him as a pitcher to start things out.
He can swing the stick, though. My goodness.
Just 19 years of age, but he also was an outstanding basketball player, 2-year basketball letterman. I know Doc Sadler, the Southern Miss basketball coach, was here yesterday. I think he'd take a little 6'5" small forward. Downstairs a little bit too low.
Something tells me that his future might be in baseball.
Yeah. Well, when USA Baseball invites you, that's big. We've been talking about the last couple of days that no matter what sport you get invited to a USA camp, be it basketball, baseball, or whatever, you go up against and play with people that are as good or better than you. Well, they're swinging a miss. I've talked to a lot of athletes that said that changed them. They realize going in, they think, I'm pretty good. Until you get among those who are as good or better than you, and you go, I've got to work on my game more.
It's a humbling experience, to be sure. I ran into that in my summer in the Cape League. You see batters swinging wooden sticks for the first time, and it's a different game.
Pitch to Wallner, rips it to right field. That'll fall in front of Nichting. Irby will head to third. Here comes the throw. It's going to be off the mark, and Wallner will go down to second.
That throw was offline. Had it been online, I think Irby would have been a dead duck at third base.
I agree. Here it is again.
Look here. Great throw. Velocity from Nichting, just a little bit up the line. And Mims, rather than trying to short hop it, decided to play it on the long hop.
So for the first time in 3 innings, Southern Miss knocking on the door. Runners in scoring position for Hunter Slater. 34 RBIs on the season. Had a double his first trip to the plate back in the second inning. Crowding the plate, and now Patton's got his work cut out for him. Nobody up in either bullpen.
Big opportunity here for the Golden Eagles.
Definitely went around. First game, 10-run rule as Rice took care of FAU, only played 7 innings. Rice started swinging the bat from the get-go, and they just poured it all over FAU. Got away from Patton. Two teams did not play each other in the regular season. One pitch. The shade inside.
No action in the bullpen yet, but someone's heading down there with maybe the ball bag.
Colby Bruce, a freshman right-hander. Pitch. Sliced foul. And Colby has a chance to make a fielding play down there. Throw it to the fans. Come on. There you go, Colby. Good job. You made a friend for life.
You always got to search out a kid. That's
exactly.
my rule.
Got him swinging. How to get out of a jam in one easy lesson by Jonah Patton. Strikes out Hunter Slater, and Southern Miss strands 2. 3 are in the books, and the lead is 3. Absolutely beautiful day in Biloxi, Mississippi at the first National Banking Association Conference USA Championships in baseball for 2017. I'm Ron Thulin. I've been privileged to work with one of the bright young announcers. We're going to be hearing from him. I'm sure your dad is looking over his shoulder. Eric Bramer also calls the games here for the Biloxi Shuckers, and he takes over the middle innings. Eric, go after it.
Thank you, Ron. 6, 7, and 8 due up for Charlotte, trying to add to a 3-0 lead. An opportunity for USM fell by the wayside in the bottom half of the third inning, leaving 2 runners in scoring position. It'll be Reese Hampton up against Hayden Roberts beginning his second inning of work. Roberts went 1-2-3 against the heart of the Charlotte lineup in the third inning. Hampton a grounder to short his first time up. Roberts delivers low ball 1.
Roberts had great tempo when he came in here, especially when he got Logan Shear on the strikeout to end the inning. It was a short inning for him, not many pitches.
1-0 pitch, a called strike. I like what I've seen from Roberts so far. He throws it hard and he throws it over the top, which can provide some challenges for batters as they track the spin of the ball. Pitch misses up.
That's a great point, because we've seen guys go a lot of three-quarter throwers over the course of this tournament so far. But sometimes when guys want that extra, they come over the top, but he seems to be consistently over the top.
2-1, another fastball. It just seems like the ball jumps a little bit more when it's coming from that height. Hampton swings and taps it on a couple to first base. Bordeaux has it, and he takes it to the base himself for out number 1.
You know, you watch Bordeaux at first base. He does all the basics and the fundamentals so well. This looks like an easy little hopper, but you've got to be careful. But he's got his body squared up, makes the catch. No rush at all. Very content down at first base. Yeah, impressive.
I think he was prepared for that ball to hop up and get him in the chest, but even if it had, it would have fallen right in front of him, and he might have had time to recover and make the play. First pitch misses low to Hunter Jones. Jones singled in the second, got as far as third base, and was thrown out at the plate trying to advance on a wild pitch. A controversial play. Upon replay review up here, we didn't see anything to overturn it, but it was definitely a bang-bang play at the plate. Might have been a momentum shifter. Inside outs it again. Bordeaux has a chance, and he'll take it the second, 3 unassisted in as many batters here in the 4th inning.
Here we come up to Zach Hamilton, who is supposed to be the designated hitter. They just put him in the slot just to fill a name in there, and Zach Smith actually became the DH. Comes in, gets a single first time.
Yeah, first pitch swinging. He lined it through the hole on the right side. Came around to score. First pitch swinging again, popped up left side of the infield in foul territory. Hadley fighting the sun, he makes the catch. And a very quick 1-2-3, top of the 4th inning for USM. On to the bottom of the 4th. It's still 3-0 Charlotte. You're watching the Conference USA Tournament. Back in Biloxi for the bottom of the 4th inning, Charlotte leads USM 3-0. No rest for the weary. This MGM Park grounds crew just wrapped up a 10-game Shuckers homestand. Had a day off filled with rain and wind. Now back at it for a bunch more games here for Conference USA. They've done a great job in the field. From up here, at least, looks to be in pristine condition.
I also want to give a shout-out to the guys down to the left of us who are playing the music. They have done a great job. Anybody that throws Rick Ansley in there is okay in my book. I told him the other night, you know, when you do the NBA, you hear the same songs over and over, and I said, everybody dance now. It drives me nuts. Next break, the Jokers down the end there playing Everybody Dance Now, just to see my reaction. They're down there cracking up laughing now.
Called strike begins the at-bat to Tracy Hadley. It'll be Hadley followed by Donaldson and Guidry for the Golden Eagles against Patton. Patton worked out of a jam in the 3rd inning. Left runners at 2nd and 3rd. 0-1 hit high in the air, shallow right center. Coming on as the right fielder Nichting. That might have been the second baseman's ball where it ended up, but he makes the catch for out number 1.
I think, once again, we have seen the wind pick up a little bit, and it begins to float. But you talked about the sky here, how tough it is to see sometimes, and everybody was kind of looking for it at first, but look how far he had to come. Herbie ran or I should say, Nichting ran a long way to get that.
Center fielder Hampton's cap came off running in, so there is a bit of a breeze. Cole Donaldson, the catcher, struck out swinging his first time up. He takes inside ball 1. 3 runs on 5 hits for the 49ers. They've also benefited from 2 Golden Eagles errors. This one chopped left side. Nice play by the third baseman Mims, cutting in front of the shortstop Jones to make a play.
Well, this is the inning that Southern Miss exploded against UTSA last night, coming up with 3 runs, take a 5-0 lead. Southern Miss with 12 hits in that victory over the Roadrunners. So far this afternoon, they only have 2.
The Golden Eagles want to put a run up on the board in this 4th inning. They're going to need Matthew Guidry to reach base. He walked his first time up. Pitch misses very wide, ball 1.
Deceiving power for Guidry. Talked about his 4 RBIs in the tournament. He's got 4 home runs so far this season.
Just a freshman. Between Guidry and Wallner, the future looks bright for Southern Miss. On the outside corner to even up the count.
Oak Grove High School. I think that's where Brett Favre worked out all the players and stuff.
Might be.
It's funny because Brett was telling us last night that,
Line drive center field. Going back is Hampton, and he makes a running catch going into the gap. And a little Bo Jackson wall climb to boot. The Golden Eagles go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 4th inning, thanks to some nice defense from the infield and the outfield. Take another look here at a nice running play and some flair here at MGM Park. It's 3-0 Charlotte over USM as we head to the top of the 5th inning in Biloxi, Mississippi. Eric Bramer joined by Ron Thulin, and Charlotte got out to an early lead. Things have quieted down since then, but the Golden Eagles bats need to wake up if they're going to play again tonight and move on to the championship.
Well, Southern Miss looking to become the 9th Conference USA team to win the outright regular season and the tournament title. Well, they averaged 8.7 runs during the regular season. That was number 2 in the NCAA. Their scoring margin was +4. That was best in the NCAA. And when they came into the tournament, they led Conference USA in 19 different categories.
Credit where credit's due to the Charlotte 49ers. 34 wins on the season, undefeated in the tournament thus far. And if they hold on to their lead here, they'll be playing in the championship. 9-1-2 due up for the 49ers here in the 5th inning. Yet, Jarrett, and Netzer. 6 up, 6 down for Hayden Roberts since he entered to start the 3rd inning.
He's looked really good, too.
Working with a little bit of a sense of urgency, too, which everyone appreciates. His defense, probably most of all. Those first 2 innings got pretty sluggish with Powers working in and out of trouble. Line back up the middle into center field. There's the first hit off Roberts. He comes from the 9-hitter Harris Yett to start the 5th inning.
How about Yett? 2 for 2 in the ball game. That makes him 5 for 8 for the tournament. He came in batting just .203, and sometimes you get unsung heroes, guys that maybe not have had a great year during the regular season, but Harris Yett is stepping up big time from that catcher position.
You'll take that production out of the 9 spot,
Oh, yeah.
especially with Zach Jarrett stepping in. He's reached base twice today, circled the bases in the first with a leadoff home run on the first pitch of the game. And then in the second, hit a chopper to third that turned into a 2-based throwing error as Tracy Hadley sent it down to the tarp. Yet not a threat to steal. Pitch misses, high, ball 1.
Interesting to watch his father and his entire family. His father, of course, legendary Dale Jarrett, NASCAR Hall of Fame. Watch his reaction when he hit that home run the other night against UTSA. His dad is just being a dad while he's here, and I don't think nobody has bothered him. Everybody's letting Dale just watch the baseball game the way it should be.
Separate vocations, but Jarrett has taken his share of left turns in this tournament.
Oh, yes.
Pitch bounced, and Yett unable to corral it. Rather, Yett will go to second as his counterpart Donaldson goes to second.
Boy, now you look at Cole Donaldson is limping. noticeable limp. The trainer has come out. Want to double check on that, but
you wonder where it got him.
Yeah.
You don't really want to know too much.
Looks like inside of the pad is pointing to right now.
His right knee area. Don't want to speculate too much. These catchers are tough, and that he's standing and alert probably means he'll stay in the game.
I tell you what, those guys, they're warriors out there. All the catchers in the tournament we've seen.
They can get you on the bone, on the muscle, or it can also get part of the padding, and that padding is hard. If it gets you in the wrong spot, that can sting too.
You become a member of the Tub Club when this is over.
So a runner in scoring position for Jarrett now with nobody out. Roberts facing trouble for the first time this afternoon. 2-0 pitch. The bat goes flying into the dugout as it's fouled off. And that went down the stairs in the Charlotte dugout. Looks like everyone's okay, but that's scary. Now he'll get some rosin or pine tar, whatever that mixture is, to get his hands a little bit grippier.
Well, temperature's up to 84 degrees, probably the same as far as the humidity is concerned, so the hands may be a little damp. That's one thing Charlotte has. They have those multicolored bats. I think it's the only one in the tournament that does. Very colorful. I think they take batteries. I'm not sure.
2-1, line drive, base hit, left field. Checking into third is Yet. He won't test the arm of Slater, but now runners at the corners with nobody out as the Niners look to extend the lead.
Now, to me, this is just classic baseball. You have Zach Jarrett, who has such a presence at the plate. I mean, I am so impressed with this young man's bat control, of course, as you mentioned. First pitch of the game, hit the dinger, but he hit it exactly where he needed to. Very relaxed up there, and now you got runners on the corner, nobody out. Nobody working in either team's bullpen.
Netzer, a dangerous hitter. 1 for 2 today with a single his first time up. Came in batting .336.
He's 5 for 9 in the tournament. 10 total bases in the tournament so far.
Roberts to a set. First pitch misses inside. We'll see if Charlotte does any funny business here. Jarrett a threat to steal at first base. Not a whole lot of speed at third with Yet, but first and third, you always have to keep your eyes peeled. Third baseman Hadley playing even with the base and creeping in with the pitch. The 1-0, a called strike.
Good breaking pitch. Just enough to keep Netzer off balance.
Modest lead for Jarrett at first. Takes a quarter step in, as there's the first to third move.
We have probably had, I'd say, roughly 10 of those moves. Nobody has thrown over to first on the fake to third, go to first, except Southern Miss in the opening game. He threw to first. Problem was there was nobody on first. Ended up throwing it out of bounds, almost in the outfield.
Part 1-1 up and away.
Number of miscues they had in that opening game.
I believe if you throw to an unoccupied base, it's a balk, but the ball was still in play, they ran wild on it.
We've never seen anything like that. Felt terrible for the young man.
High stress innings for the first time for a lot of these players. 2-1 to Netzer. Line just foul over the glove of the first baseman Bordeaux. He was right on the line, keeping the runner close, so he has that line covered.
And he's also left-handed, so he had a chance to get that. I thought he may have been able to snatch it, but it was a rocket.
3 runs on 7 hits for the 49ers. Just 2 hits for Southern Miss. And the Golden Eagles have also committed 2 errors. 2-2 pitch misses the outside corner. The count runs full. Dangerous TJ Nichting waits on deck.
Number 1 in Conference USA in batting average. That goes under Dangerous.
380 coming into play today. Don't want to give him a chance with the bases loaded, nobody out. We'll see what Roberts gives Netzer with the payoff pitch. Tapped foul, runner was off at first. Crowd is filled in, a lot of gold in the stands. A lot of gold hiding from the sun in the concourse level.
You're right, there is. Especially on the first base side. Not a whole lot of room on that third base side to sit.
Talked to some Mets scouts at the Southern Miss game a couple days ago, and they were eager to get out of the sun. Probably not the only ones. Another 3-2. Fouled off left side, out of play.
I see the scouts. There's a number of them right below us with their radar guns, floppy hats.
We gave away a floppy hat in our first Shuckers homestand, and it's a very popular item down here. They call them the Boonie hat,
Okay.
which I had never heard before.
I never heard that.
Bucket hat is kind of the popular nomenclature, but the Boonie hat, it's something that I'll probably wear for years to come.
There you go.
Another 3-2 from Roberts to Netzer. Fly ball center field. Should be deep enough to bring the run in. Wallner sets up for the throw. He catches, and the throw goes into the cutoff man. Charlotte adds another run, and it's 4-0. Netzer gets the job done. He puts the ball in play and hits it hard enough to get the run home from third. He knew right away he didn't hit it well enough for a base hit, but he got the job done, and he gets some knucks as he returns to his dugout. One down now for Nichting with the runner still at first.
And it's 4-0 now, and they still only have one out. And you're going into the meat of the order for Charlotte.
Nichting is grounded out to each member of the middle infield in 2 at-bats, which means that he's due. Runner goes, hit and run, and it's right to the shortstop. They stay out of the double play by sending the runner in motion. Nichting retires, but Jarrett advances to second.
Okay, that was a great call because you did stay out of the double play. That would have been a perfect double play ball. But instead, you still have a runner on at second. Jackson Mims comes up with 39 RBIs coming into this game.
Now we'll see if Mims can take advantage of that. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning and grounded out to short his last time up. If Charlotte holds on to win this game, they're in the championship tomorrow against Rice. If Southern Miss wins, coming from the losers bracket, these two teams will play again later this evening.
That'll be about 7:30 is game time, and since there's no 4 o'clock game because Rice took care of FIU, 7:30 is etched in stone.
Pitch misses wide. Boy, did they ever take care of FAU. A 13-2 final in 7 innings. FAU, a very good baseball team, but made to look fatigued, I think is the best word for it.
13th time in the 12 years that Rice has scored double-digit runs in a Conference USA tournament game.
Runner takes off for third, swung on and missed, no throw. Great read by Jarrett to take third base, and now he's 90 feet away from run number 5.
That is just a flat-out heads-up play by Jarrett. This guy is a complete ball player. I mean, and he's a big guy. He's 6'4", 226 pounds. Coach Lambert, come on, football coach at Charlotte. Look at this guy, tight end.
1-1 pitch, swung on and missed, goes up the line. If it had gone in the other direction, Jarrett would have scored the 5th run, but that it went up the third base line means that Jarrett stays put. He had a great view of where that ball was, and credit Donaldson for being heads up and identifying where it bounced off of him. 1-2 the count to Mims. Roberts trying to escape the fifth with only one run allowed. Here's the pitch off the outside corner.
Mims just standing up there very stoically. Bat's not just flopping around all over the place. This Charlotte team has been very focused from the opening pitch when Jarrett jacked it out of the park.
Jarrett dancing off third. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike three. A huge strikeout for Hayden Roberts. And we're through 4.5 in Biloxi. Charlotte adds a run. They lead 4-0 over the Golden Eagles. You're watching the Conference USA Tournament. Back in Biloxi on a Saturday in the park, and it feels like the 4th of July. 84 degrees and sunny.
Okay, you're young. Who sang it?
Chicago.
You're my man.
I've seen
Give it
Chicago
up, buddy.
in concert. I'm an old soul.
Well, you went to Northwestern, so you better know who the Chicago Transit Authority, or
Absolutely.
CTA.
Absolutely. They weren't the same after Terry Kath, but, you know.
Oh, Peter Cetera.
When he went solo, I think the last couple years of the group,
You are my
they got
man.
a little bit soapy, you know?
You
The
are-
original stuff when they were experimental, that's my jam.
You're my new hero, buddy.
4-0, Charlotte leads. It's going to be 9-1 and 2 for the Golden Eagles as they look to break through.
Work with a lot of young announcers, and they don't know who that is. That's just wrong.
Bunted foul up the first base line. LeMarcus Boyd flew out to right field his first time up. Will be followed by Dylan Bordeaux and Mason Irby. Credit Jonah Patton. He missed there very badly. As Boyd didn't even bother getting out of the way. That had no chance of even hitting him.
Needs a little stick 'em on the hands there. We talked about how these two teams did not meet in the regular season, but Southern Miss is 8-1 versus Charlotte. Since Charlotte rejoined Conference USA, that was back in 2014.
Two-one misses high and tight. Eagles would love to get Boyd on base. He's 10 for 15 in stolen base opportunities. To get his speed on would be huge. One run in the first on a leadoff home run. 2 runs in the second. Fouled over our heads. There's a lot over our heads. And the count runs full.
A little too close, but we'll take it.
2 runs in the second and a run here in the top of the 5th inning. 49ers, coming from the winner's bracket, will advance to the finals if they can hold on and win today. Southern Miss playing in front of a friendly crowd less than an hour away from Hattiesburg. Hoping to draw from some of that hometown magic. Payoff pitch, high fastball, got him. Another strikeout for Patton. It's out number 1 in the 5th.
5 strikeouts for Jonah Patton in this ballgame so far. Tell you, he has been in control of this game.
He's been in control of the strike zone, too. That might be the most impressive part. He's gone up and down, in and out. And Southern Miss has been kept off balance.
74 total pitches, 48 have been in the strike zone for Patton.
Dylan Bordeaux takes very outside and a bit low. The star first baseman for the Golden Eagles 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and a grounder to third.
And you're just waiting for him to come up with some big bomb.
There's a lot of time left as the 1-0 misses wide. Still nobody warming in either pen. Charlotte would love to get a long outing out of Patton to save whoever waits in the wings for a potential championship game tomorrow. 2-0 pitch, popped up, right side foul and out of play. Headed towards that throng of Southern Miss fans. And it was dropped.
Oh,
You hate to see it.
you had your chance.
And I'll give someone some slack if it's coming in hot, but that was a lazy pop-up, and I don't know. Stick your hat out or something. 2-1 now to Bordeaux. Squares to bunt, misses, and it's 2-2. That was not a good pitch to bunt.
No.
High in the zone, and even if he had put the bat on it, it might have gone in the air.
Right now, Southern Miss in this game hitting only 133, only 2 hits in the ball game. They're a much better hitting club than that.
Pitch misses wide and another full count. Well, the fulcrum of the game was the second inning.
Absolutely.
Southern Miss trailing 3-0. Got a leadoff double from Hunter Slater, but they were unable to get him in. They were unable to even advance him past second base. Southern Miss hoping for another momentum changer. Another high fastball, another swing and a miss, and another strikeout. Patton's just blowing that high heat past these Golden Eagles batters.
Once again, Patton was just 1-1 with a 5.02 ERA, 27 walks, 33 Ks coming into this game. He's got the number on Bordeaux, second time he has struck out of this game, and we haven't seen that in the tournament from Dylan.
Fastball at the number of Bordeaux. Wasn't even letter high, but got it by the dangerous first baseman. That'll leave things to Mason Irby. Irby takes inside ball 1. Irby is yet to draw an at-bat. 2 plate appearances, 2 walks. Stranded at third in the third inning. Patton delivers just inside, and it's 2-0. Patton has allowed 3 walks and plenty of deep counts, as that one misses inside, and that did clip Irby. He will walk down to first with a hit by pitch. It didn't get him very hard. In fact, the catcher yet, I think, caught that in his mitt, but it's a hit by pitch nonetheless, and the Golden Eagles have a runner on base for their 3-hitter.
Take a look at it again. It was close, kind of danced over the top of it. But he will head down to first base. Fans just looking for something to cheer about.
Taylor Braley will hope to give it to him. Designated hitter today, 0 for 2 with a strikeout his last time up.
Pitched a great game last night.
.324 batting average coming into play today as he swings and misses at the first offering. He put a charge into one in his first at bat. Lofted a high fly ball down the left field line that in foul territory, Zach Jarrett made a really nice play on.
Braley pitched 8 innings last night, 7 hits, no runs, 9 strikeouts.
Takes on the inside corner, and it's 0-2.
Such a versatile ball player. Blew out his knee last April, and that really hurt the team. But he's come back healthy. Looks like a fullback.
Hoping to put some muscle into the 0-2 pitch. Misses wide.
Right now, I think if you're Jonah Patton, you want to get this done. You don't want to linger. You don't want to waste pitches on this. It's still hot outside. It's 84 degrees. You want to get this halfway home.
And Matt Wallner waits on deck, too.
Exactly. Somebody with a big stick.
The 1-2 just off the outside corner. Yet held it. But no dice, says Scott Wilkerson behind home plate.
Not quite as smooth in his delivery the last couple of pitches. A little off balance.
Trailing by 4, we don't expect Irby to take off from first base here. 2-2 misses wide. And another 3-ball count. He hasn't paid the price for it yet, but eventually USM is going to capitalize on all these 3-ball counts.
Over 80 pitches now for Patton. We're going to see somebody in the bullpen, I think, in the next few minutes.
Golden Eagles haven't put a ball in play yet this inning. 2 strikeouts and a hit by pitch. Runner goes. Payoff pitch just misses. A very close pitch that Patton might have the benefit of the doubt on if he had shown better command of the strike zone this inning.
I agree 100% on that.
So now 2 on and 2 out, and there's going to be a discussion on the mound. No move to the pen yet. There is a lefty warming.
Well, Coach Doty's going to go out and talk to him again. He's given him one pep talk already today. This will be the second.
The pitcher win is secondary here, though if Patton can complete 5, he would be in line as the pitcher of record. Wallner and Slater in the on-deck circle are left-handed batters, so.
Well, there hasn't been a lot of action in the bullpen. They were just slow tossing a few minutes ago.
Southern Miss fans unhappy that they're having such a long conversation here, and now finally Wilkerson begins the long walk out to the pitcher's mound.
It's been interesting to watch the umpires because there have been different ways they've handled that. A lot of them have come out immediately. Some have waited. I think you got to keep the game going.
We're an hour 40 minutes into this one in the bottom of the 5th inning. No hurry, as there will not be a mid-afternoon game. If Southern Miss can come back and win this one, they will play Game 2, a rematch against Charlotte, in prime time tonight. Wallner 1 for 2 with a single his last time up. Missing badly is Patton, ball 1.
Matt Horkey, the junior left-hander, is the one who's warming up down in the bullpen for Charlotte right now.
Wallner's been so big for the Golden Eagles all season. Hoping there's another hit left in that bat. 1-0 pitch, challenged him with a high fastball, and again, the Golden Eagles batters just can't catch up to it.
I'll tell you, you think about a player the caliber of Wallner, it only takes one swing and all of a sudden this game, the complexion changes, the fans change.
Breeze coming in from right field. Here's the 1-1 from Patton to Wallner, missing outside.
Again, don't waste pitches. Don't give them anything too good to hit. I really think you got to keep that bulldog mentality when you're out there.
A couple notable exceptions, the hit by pitch and the ball behind Boyd, but for the most part, when Patton's missed, it's been badly away.
Mm-hmm.
The 2-1, a half swing, a foul tip into the glove, and it's 2-2. Runner at second is Irby. Runner at first is Braley.
Making defensive adjustments from the Charlotte dugout again. They get Reese Hampton to move over to his right and get him a little bit deeper. Everybody is playing very deep in the outfield, especially right and left field.
Patton worked out of a jam in the 2nd inning and the 3rd inning. Line drive to right center field, down for a hit. It'll go all the way to the wall. Here comes Irby to score. Braley coming around, the throw to the plate. He is out. A perfect relay from deep right center field. Southern Miss gets one back, but the second one is cut down at the plate.
That is a classic relay. You can't get any better than that.
Wallner gave them the big extra base hit they were looking for, but Nichting into the cutoff man and the throw to the plate well in time to get Braley for out number 3. We head to the top of the 6th inning. It's 4-1, Charlotte over Southern Miss. Well, Southern Miss got one back in the bottom of the 5th inning, but an incredible relay on an RBI double from Matt Wallner cuts down the 2nd run. And Charlotte is very lucky to have a 3-run lead heading into the top of the 6th inning.
That was impressive, to say the least.
5, 6, and 7 due up for the 49ers against Hayden Roberts, still out there beginning his 4th inning of work. Logan Shearer is yet to put the ball in play. He takes up and away ball 1. Strikeout looking in the first, a strikeout swinging in the third. Pitch chopped up the middle. Placed well as Guidry. He makes the play for out number 1.
I think you hit it on the head, though. How lucky is Charlotte to only give up 1 run on that play?
Well, you look through, 2 strikeouts. That's good for Patton. But the hit by pitch, the walk, and Wallner just hit the snot out of that ball.
Oh, he clobbered it
into right center. In hindsight, you maybe wonder if he hadn't hit it as hard, if it had rolled to the gap, if the run might have scored. But
good point. But you would think, though, you'd be able to score on that play when it goes, the better part of 380 probably.
Well, Braley was off on contact with 2 down, so he was chugging around the entire way. Just credit to the Charlotte defense. And right fielder TJ Nichting. High fly ball into left field. Drifting back is Slater. Still back and shy of the track, he makes the catch. You never know with those high fly balls.
No.
This wind can swirl around, and especially channeling out to the left field corner. Slater knows that well. He played that to perfection, keeping himself behind the ball, making the catch for out number 2.
And the wind isn't coming quite as much straight in from right field. Now it's going a little more towards left field, just a tad.
So now Reese Hampton 0 for 3. That'll bring up Hunter Jones, a single his first time up, thrown out at the plate. Both teams now have had a run cut down at the plate. A run here, a run there, and this game has a very different complexion.
Absolutely. Got to credit Charlotte, though. They're doing everything they had to do coming into this tournament and the game.
2 arms warming in the pen for Charlotte. If Patton's day is done, it was a good one. 5 innings, he's in line for the win. As a fly ball is lofted out to shallow right field, coming on is Irby, and he makes the catch to retire Jones. That's more like it for Roberts. 3 of his 4 innings have been 1, 2, 3 innings. And we head to the bottom of the 6th at MGM Park in Biloxi. It's 4-1 Charlotte over Southern Miss. You're watching ESPN. Back at MGM Park in beautiful Biloxi, Mississippi, the second to last day of the Conference USA tournament. And Charlotte has done a good job today getting an early lead and holding it. Jonah Patton out to at least begin his 6th inning of work. Ran into some trouble in the 5th inning, and we speculated that he might be running out of gas. But here to face Hunter Slater, Tracy Hadley, and Cole Donaldson as the Golden Eagles, after getting 1 run in the 5th inning, hope to chip away even more here in the 6th. Ball 1 misses wide.
Colby Bruce, the freshman right-hander, Matt Horkey, the junior left-hander, both have been up in the bullpen. They actually have a 3rd reliever down there, and he's just been stretching, so they're preparing to finish out these last few innings, but they're going to have everybody ready.
Slater doubled his first time up. He takes outside again, and it's 2-0.
Once again, Rice has already made it to the championship game. That'll be at 1 o'clock tomorrow, and if Charlotte wins this game, they immediately go to the 1 o'clock championship game. If not, they got to play Southern Miss again tonight at 7:30.
Great pitch on the outer half at 2-0. Slater couldn't do much with it, even though he offered at it, and it's 2-1. Patton with that peculiar delivery sends it in low, 3-1. Tracy Hadley waits on deck.
Once again, he's a starter by default for Charlotte. Start of the year as a closer. A couple of their starting pitchers were not performing well.
Pitch misses wide, a 5-pitch walk. Begins the bottom of the 6th inning, Slater aboard.
Now that's a big warning sign, and I think they're going to come out and talk to him, and they will. If you walk the opening guy, I don't care what level of baseball you're playing, the coach, the manager, whatever, knows that usually comes up and bites you.
The left arm goes up. We take that to mean that it will be the lefty coming in for Charlotte. No, it's the righty. They have an order of operations, so to speak. Patton's day is done after 5+ innings. He really did do a good job handling an early lead. He allowed 1 run back in the 5th inning, and he's responsible for Slater at first, but in line for the win in a very big game for the 49ers. They're going to talk things over on the mound as we try and ID the new pitcher in the game for Charlotte.
Well, Patton's line right now, of course, he's responsible for the runner on, but 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned. 5 walks, 7 strikeouts, so he got the job done. He made it to the 6th. They probably would love to have gotten another inning out of him, but still, I think they've got to be very pleased with the job he's done.
It's Colby Bruce, the freshman righty, coming in for the Niners. Coming in with a 3-0 record, 4.42 ERA, 26th appearance, 26th out of the pen. 18 earned runs allowed in 36 2/3, 24 strikeouts in that span, and a batting average against of .279.
He's one of those big pitchers we've seen. He's 6'5", 186, out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Taking his warm-up tosses here. As Patton's day is done. It'll be 6 and 7, maybe 8 for the Golden Eagles. Hadley, Donaldson, and Guidry facing the new pitcher, Bruce.
I love seeing the little kids out behind the wall in right center field having a big time out there.
Pretty good crowd here. It takes a lot for these seats to look completely filled. It seats 6,000 here, and almost all of them in the seating bowl between the lines. But a good showing again from Southern Miss fans.
Absolutely. We've got some Charlotte fans in the stands also. We know we have Dale Jarrett and his family.
In this tournament coming back to Biloxi, I'm sure positive word of mouth will mean that in future years.
There's Dale.
There he is.
White hat, green shirt. Considering the big weekend this is, with obviously the Indy 500, the Coca-Cola 600. You know where his priorities are.
Tracy Hadley steps in, 2 flyouts to right in his 2 previous at-bats. Squares to bunt, pulls it back at the last second, and takes ball 1.
Like the job that Harris Yett did. Tell you, he's one of the unsung heroes of this Charlotte team. Harris Yett, their catcher.
Couple big hits.
Yep.
And rock solid defense behind the plate, including putting a nice tag on the runner at home to end the 5th inning.
Fundamental baseball.
One-0 pitch right down the middle at the belt to even up the count.
Just think, if you're Colby Bruce, last year at this time, you were playing probably in the high school playoffs, if that. Now you're in a position where you're on the threshold of winning a conference postseason title. And you are the man.
The allure, the nerves of playing on a professional baseball field, probably not lost on him either. Nice bunt on the first base side, but what a laser coming from Bruce
Wow.
to the second baseman, Netzer. That might have come in just as hot as his pitch from the rubber. Successful sacrifice brings Slater on to second. Hadley retired, score at 1-4 if you're keeping track at home.
I think Netzer was surprised how hard it was thrown, but he had to get it that hard. But you know the communication was on the field first, because he had no shot at the runner at second.
Well, Netzer's lucky that that ball was on target, because if it's at the shoe tops or the head, might be a different story.
Well, you know the possibility of that thing hitting the tarp, bounding all the way down to the right field corner, and everybody gets on the merry-go-round and just keeps running.
Cole Donaldson, the catcher, 0 for 2 today. A chance to bring his team a run closer with a hit to the outfield. On the inside corner, strike 1.
Cole Donaldson kind of alternates with Bryant Bowen at that catcher spot for Southern Miss.
0-1 misses wide. Nobody warming for Southern Miss. No reason to. Roberts has been great. 1, 2, 3 innings in 3 of the 4 that he's pitched.
There's still action down at Charlotte's bullpen. Now everybody's just taking a little bit of a breather.
The 1-1 on the inside corner. Donaldson backed away from it, but that's what happens when you crowd the plate.
I was just going to say that. He was right on top of the plate. He doesn't like the call. But from here, it looked like a great pitch.
And an important pitch to set up whatever comes next. I would guess maybe something off speed on the outer half. Well, looks like they're going inside again, maybe.
That's where the target is.
Foul tip into the glove. Another strikeout for these Golden Eagles batters. It doesn't matter if it's Patton or Bruce. Those fastballs are hard to catch up to. Donaldson with a few words, we assume polite for the home plate umpire on his way back. He did not like that strike 2 call.
Probably said have a great day.
That'll leave it to Matthew Guidry. A walk his first time up, a fly out to center in the 4th.
8 strikeouts by Southern Miss batters so far this afternoon. Kind of uncharacteristic, to be honest with you. Usually pretty good at just putting the bat on the ball.
This game far from over. Southern Miss trailing by just 3. With a hit to the outfield, they could make it a 2-run deficit. First pitch swinging and fouling is Guidry. It's out of play. Here's hoping my car in the parking lot's okay.
That's the first thing I think all of us think about when we see these balls go flying out of here.
It really is incredible that we don't get more balls in windshields.
I know.
Michael Reed, who plays for the Shuckers, broke a window beyond the left field fence with a long home run a few weeks ago. 0-1 taken high. The net beyond left field protects Cayavet Street. The net behind the first base dugout in that concourse area protects the 110 exit. One pitch, inside outed, fouled off. And a great idea to, from the get-go, install those nettings down the first and third base lines above the dugouts.
Right. Safety.
Especially when you're in a ballpark as intimate as this one.
Guidry has had a hit in every game he has played in the tournament so far.
Hoping to extend that. His team and his fans hoping he can extend that with a runner at second. Bruce to a set. He checks Slater and delivers the 1-2 to the plate. Bounce in the dirt. Nice stop again by Yet.
Everybody just taking their time now, understanding the importance of this situation for both teams.
Charlotte scored the first 4 runs of the game. Southern Miss got one back in the 5th. Might have had 2 if not for a great play at the plate. 2-2 to Guidry. Inside out it, down to the third base line, and it drops foul.
Ooh. Zach Jarrett was on his horse trying to get there, but he was never going to catch up with that ball as it was sliced away from him.
My cheat sheet, my heuristic is to watch the batter at the plate. See where that one falls, where they look. And he was running out of the box, as he should have, but you could tell he didn't think that one was going to drop fair.
Fans did, or were hoping, I should say.
Back at it with another 2-2. Bruce accepts the sign from Yet. Another 2-2, missing low.
Ooh.
Just low.
That looked like a good pitch from Colby Bruce.
A good take from Guidry.
Yeah, you've got to tip the hat to him on that.
Three and two with first base open. The 9-hitter LeMarcus Boyd waiting on deck. The payoff pitch. Popped up. Left field. Jarrett stares into that high sky and makes the catch head high. So the Golden Eagles get a runner to second base, but strand him. We are through 6 innings in Biloxi. It's 4-1. Charlotte over Southern Miss. You're watching the Conference USA Championship on ESPN.
And you can see the wind.
It's a beautiful day in Biloxi as it's 4-1. Charlotte over Southern Miss as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Take you the rest of the way. Here's Ron Thulin.
Thank you, Eric. It's been a good day for Charlotte so far in this ball game. Toughest schedule in program history. Charlotte played this year's second highest win total in Conference USA games. They really kicked it into gear in April with an 8-game win streak, and now they are on the verge of going to the title game versus Rice. If they can hold on, that'll be tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Begin the top half of the 7th inning. Here's Zach Smith. Batting .278 on the year, considered the DH. Hayden Roberts has done a nice job. Stevie Powers started the game. He went a couple of innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, including a first pitch home run to Zach Jarrett of Charlotte to begin the game. Big cut by Smith. 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Charlotte. 1 run, 3 hit, 2 errors for Southern Miss. They've got 8 strikeouts, Southern Miss, in this ball game. Bats have been quiet. Barely tipped. Smith hitting in the 8th spot, Paris yet, and then followed by Zach Jarrett. Outfield playing pretty straight away. Temperatures nicked up another degree to 85. And the winds picked up a little bit also in the stadium. This crowd came here expecting Southern Miss, obviously the regular season champion, to kind of walk through this game today. Hasn't been the case. They handily won the regular season. Wasn't even close.
You never know come tournament time.
Yeah, they won by 6 games in the loss column and win column. Pitch, fouled back out of play. Southern Miss obviously going to go to the NCAA tournament. Nobody doubts that. They knew that if they'd win this tournament, they would solidify their place to host part of the NCAA tournament. And the umpire gets it on the hand.
That's got to hurt.
Scott Wilkerson. I tell you, they've taken some hits this week.
Catcher's code. Nice of Donaldson to run out there and probably not say anything important to his pitcher, but give the umpire some time to recover after that blow.
Yeah, we saw Conlon, home plate umpire, on Thursday night take one to the arm. He was out for about 5 or 10 minutes. They wrapped it up. He ran back in, stayed in the tournament. Actually was on the base paths in the first game today with Rice and FAU. 2-2 pitch. Rip foul. Bordeaux made the diving stab.
He's a good first baseman. He knows exactly how far off the line he has to play, and if that ball had been fair, it would have been in his webbing.
He has just been savvy down there, and he's a big kid at 6'2", 230. Started the season as preseason conference, All-Conference USA. Smith making Hayden Roberts work. Again. Frustrating for a pitcher. You think you're giving him a good pitch, you're going to get out of it, and he just keeps nicking it away on you.
It can be draining, that is certain.
I think mentally just as much as physically. I had one pitcher tell me, I got to the point, I said, what's it going to take? Pitch to Smith. Caught him looking, fooled him completely.
Great pitch here on the inner half. At the thighs. Definitely a strike, and Smith must have been expecting something else.
I think he was. Third strikeout for Hayden Roberts in this ball game. Coming in, he's done an outstanding job facing Harris yet. 2 for 2 in this contest. 5 for 8 in Conference USA tournament play. One and 0. Wide open stance by Yet. Out of play to the right side. Yet out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Played JUCO ball at Walter State. In the gap, right center field, hustling over. Irby's got it. Mason Irby, one of those players on this Southern Miss team with only one error, joining Matthew Guidry. Covers a lot of ground in right field. And here is the man, Zach Jarrett. Couple of home runs already in this tournament, but the big one was today. The opening pitch of the ball game, he jacked it. Stevie Powers didn't even have a chance to settle down.
Definitely set the tone for the game.
Oh, absolutely it did. We've seen that happen in this tournament. Underdogs or lower seeded teams come in, hang a run or two on in the opening frame, and just seems to put a whole damper on the opposing team. Just missing outside. Jarrett 2 for 3. Got an RBI, obviously. Right to second base. Is that going to do it? Matthew Guidry eats that up easily. Hayden Roberts with another 1-2-3 inning back-to-back. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning, and Southern Miss finds themselves down by 3, 4-1. The fans enjoying the sun here at MGM Park in Biloxi, Mississippi, along with Eric Bramer. I'm Ron Thulin. Good to have you with us today. Rice has already advanced to the championship game. That will be tomorrow at 1 o'clock. But who will they play? Will it be Charlotte or will it be Southern Miss? Charlotte wins this game, it would be Charlotte. Southern Miss able to come back from this 4-1 deficit. They would have to play again tonight at 7:30 on this field.
Well, at this point, one thing is certain. If Southern Miss can come back to win this game, they will have the momentum coming into tonight's game.
And the home field advantage.
But the pressure is all on them. Charlotte in the driver's seat. They win, they're in.
And the way the pitching staff of Charlotte has handled this has been impressive, to say the least. They are keeping this Southern Miss bats at bay. Bottom half of the 7th inning, LaMarcus Boyd will kick things off. Got an 0 for going, 0 for 2. Gobbled up. Not a problem for Hunter Jones. Only run for Southern Miss came in the 5th.
When they've put the ball in play, they've hit it hard. Credit Charlotte's defense for making the plays necessary to keep this a 3-run lead.
Jake Davis has made his way down to the Southern Miss bullpen. Maybe he will start throwing. Charlotte has had guys up in the bullpen for a couple of innings now. Top of the order, Dylan Bordeaux. He's had a tough day. Struck out twice, grounded out once. 366 was his average coming into this game. Had 67 RBIs on the season. He's got power, he's got speed. Straightaway center, Hampton drifting back.
Nice recovery by Hampton on that. He got burned in the first split second, a bad first step, but he didn't panic. He recalibrated and he ran back to make what looked to be a reasonably routine catch.
I'll tell you what has been impressive is they've been able to hold Dylan Bordeaux down. I mean, you hold him to 0 for 4 with basically 6 outs left or 5 outs left, and you don't allow that guy to get on. When he gets on, things change because of his ability to steal. 2 outs. Irby shows the bunt. Irby has walked twice and gotten hit by a pitch. So he's been on 3 times. Colby Bruce came on in relief of Jonah Patton. Patton went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned, but he did strike out 7.
And he did exactly what you want your pitcher to do when handed an early lead. He kept it.
Exactly.
He got through the 5th inning, got into the 6th inning, and that could pay dividends heading into tomorrow.
2-1 pitch. Shade inside.
Rice got a good pitching performance from their starter. So their pitching staff is as well rested as you can expect heading into the final day of a tournament like this.
Especially since having yesterday off. Called strike. Count goes full. 3-2. 2 out, bottom half of the 7th inning. Payoff pitch. Fouled back out of play. You know, after the way Southern Miss played the last 2 games, especially yesterday against UTSA, I was really expecting, honestly, for their bats just to come out and go crazy. But we were talking late last night, and one of the guys from the conference said, hey, you're forgetting, Charlotte has played outstanding baseball, and their pitching's been good. Fouled out of play again.
We've seen Southern Miss lose in this tournament. We have not yet seen Charlotte lose, and that's about all you need to say. They have been playing really good, fundamentally sound baseball and hitting the snot out of the ball.
Well, they've won 6 in a row. Came in as the number 4 seed in the tournament. 3-2 pitch. That'll be fouled out of play again, left side.
Doesn't matter what sport, what level, all you want when you head to the postseason is a seat at the table.
Exactly.
And if you're playing good baseball heading in, good chemistry as a team, that's sometimes all it takes.
And you got on a little roll going into the tournament, too. That helps, and that's what Charlotte has done. Again, 3-2 pitch. Little pop-up. Hunter Jones giving way. Zach Jarrett will make the catch. So Jarrett has a couple of fly balls caught here in the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the top half of the 8th inning. 2 innings left to be played, and Charlotte has the lead over Southern Miss 4-1. Conference USA. the first A National Banking Association Conference USA Championship. Good to have you with us right now. Memorial Day, some of the fans have the camouflage hats on. We want to thank all the men and women who have served our country and are currently serving our country for everything we do. You have a debt of gratitude from all of us, and we appreciate you laying your lives on the line every day.
Absolutely. The military is such a huge part of this area, this region in Biloxi, with nearby Keesler Air Force Base. Make sure to remember those that we know and love who have served in the armed forces this weekend especially.
Absolutely. Southern Miss has left 6 batters on base, only 3 for Charlotte. Charlotte will send Brad Netzer up to the plate. Singled back in the first. Sacrifice fly RBI in the 5th. Overall hitting right now, Southern Miss only 136, 259 for Charlotte. A little nubber down to Guidry at second. Underhanded toss.
Well played by Guidry there. He waited back on it, but he also, I think, knew how much time he had. He waited back because he wanted to see what this hop would give him. It stayed low for him, and he underhand flipped onto first in time.
I think they've all learned throughout the tournament that there have been some quirky hops, shall we say, at times, just because of the spin on the ball off the bat. Here's TJ Nichting. 4 groundouts in the game. 2 to short, 1 to second. Or 3 groundouts, I should say.
I saw them grade the infield dirt before the season, in part in preparation for this tournament, so I can guarantee you that any hops aren't coming from uneven dirt. Might be in the base paths or something, but this field is in prime condition.
Now they're saying that Nichting went around. He goes, did he really call that? It wasn't exactly a quick call made. Drills it down the right field line. 15 doubles on the year. Number 3 in career doubles for Charlotte for TJ Nichting. Manning that right field spot. What a job Hayden Roberts has done. He has really been solid in his effort. Nichting takes it 1-2 out of Hamilton, Ohio. Was a second baseman back in 2015. Moved to right field last year. He's been the mainstay in right field now for 2 seasons. Two-two pitch. That is foul.
Off a foot, I believe.
And Nichting's got to make sure that right ankle's okay. I think it. Not sure exactly how hard it hit that.
Might have gotten him above the ankle, the lower calf area. Wherever it is, it probably doesn't feel too good right now.
Got to walk it off. Looking ahead to the 8th inning for Southern Miss. It'll be 3, 4, and 5. Braley, Wallner, and Slater. Little low. Count goes full. 3-2. Nobody on. Top half of the 8th inning. Charlotte scored the first 2 innings. 1 in the first, 2 in the second. Nichting pops it up. Center field, Wallner coming in. 2 down in the inning.
It really has not been a bad pitching performance from Southern Miss as a whole, especially Roberts.
Oh, really? It hasn't.
1 run in the first, 2 runs in the second. Aside from that, we're all square.
That brings up Jackson Mims. looking for his first hit of the ball game. Got on a fielder's choice in the first. Struck out and grounded out. I'll tell you what, Hayden Roberts, tip your hat to that young man. Roberts, 70 pitches in the ball game, and he's still showing the heat. 48 of them have been strikes.
That is impressive.
Only given up a couple of hits, has struck out 3. Just misses the outside corner, and the crowd groans.
Roberts does strike me as a high effort guy.
I agree.
I hope he's able to keep that arm healthy, but he contorts his body and gives it his all every time.
And he works quickly. I think his pace has been the same since he came in.
A broadcaster's best friend.
Absolutely. Waffle House on me after. 2-1 pitch. Sharply hit ball, knocked down by Boyd. Gets up, can't make the play.
That'll be a base hit, as it should be.
Well, Boyd did a good job just getting to the ball and knocking it down.
That's a wide open gap in left center field. If he doesn't knock that ball down, you never know what might happen.
Tell you, did a good job, though, just getting to it. But that puts Mims on first, brings up Logan Shear, 0 for 3. Struck out his first 2 trips up to the plate, grounded out. Back in the 6th. But a dangerous hitter at 266 with 45 RBIs. And they're going to come out and talk to Mr. Roberts, probably make sure he's okay. And they are going to make a pitching change. Well, Roberts did a whale of a job, but he's going to get a nice round of applause from the Southern Miss fans here at the park.
Nick Sandlin coming in. He's been great out of the bullpen. 8-1 with a 1.97 ERA. Leading the team with 7 saves. Not a save situation here, but trying to save their spot in this conference tournament, trailing by 3 runs.
Sandlin has been outstanding. He's made 1 appearance in the postseason tournament, and he just blows people down. I mean, when you talk to the coaching staffs of the other teams, you say who's the best reliever, who's the best closer, Nick Sandlin's name comes up number 1. He's got the whole repertoire. Nick Sandlin, the 5'11", 170-pound sophomore out of Evans, Georgia, was freshman All-American last season. All-Conference USA freshman also last season.
Can't argue with that.
And he has kept Southern Miss in the family. His older brother Jake actually played for the Golden Eagles. Now he faces Shear. 2 outs, 1 on. Has that 3/4 inch delivery, kind of a Kent Tekulve, not quite as low as Tekulve. He is very difficult to hit because of the angle he throws.
Also makes him kind of difficult to project. It's tough to say what that arm angle is going to do in the future, and whether he'll be able to get batters out at the next level. But certainly the ERA and the record is quite encouraging.
Two-0 count. Now he clips the corner. I like his breaking ball. He can come with a little heat. Count goes to 3-1. now Shear can just sit back and see what comes to him. Mims on first. Oh, Shear thought that was ball 4.
Great pitch. He sweeps across his body like that, so you get a lot of lateral movement. He can hit the outside corner. That can be a very tough pitch to hit.
Once again, these two teams did not face each other during the regular season, so this is the first look this year for a lot of these players of Nick Sandlin. The pitch just misses outside. So in the top half of the 8th inning, Charlotte's got a couple of runners on. Mims will go to second. Shear will go to first. This brings up Reese Hampton. 0 for 3 so far in the ball game. He'll be batting from the right side, so now that sweeping motion will be coming directly to him.
We're being waited on hand and foot here as we deal with some condensation above us.
Well, Jordan Foreman, our producer, cleaning it up. Wallner coming hard, not going to get it. 1 run will score, possibly 2. They're going to hold him up at third, but into second it's going to be Reese Hampton. Mims was able to come all the way around for the score, and it looked like Logan Shear may try to come home, but he was wisely held up at third.
We'll give credit to Wallner here. This ball was not hit well. He misread it, and if he had gotten in from the beginning, he might have been able to make that catch, but he gave it his all. Unfortunately, for Southern Miss, another run comes in.
I'm not sure if it hit Wallner right in the puss, right to smack him in the face.
Yeah, that might have gotten him there.
He did his best, couldn't get it, so Hampton on second, Shear on third, 2 outs to Hunter Jones. Singled back in the first inning, hasn't had much luck since then.
That run charged to Roberts. I don't know if he deserved that fate. He left
really.
with a runner on first and 2 outs, and Sandlin has not gotten an out yet. A walk and a bloop double.
So Roberts responsible for 2 runs, both of them earned. Late swing by Jones. That'll be a foul. I tell you, that run is going to be big, I think, in this ball game.
You never know.
Charlotte has played extremely well, not only today, but in this tournament. Oh, 2 pitch. I can hear the fans underneath going, come on, Nick.
Not as much is at stake for Southern Miss because they're headed to ideally hosting in the next round.
Well, Hunter Jones goes down swinging to end the top half of the 8th inning, but not before Charlotte adds another run. We go to the bottom half of the inning, and now the Charlotte 49ers are leading Southern Miss 5-1. Well, the clouds have come in, but the Seagulls have been circling the field. A couple of times on Thursday, they got real close to the players on the field where the players had to look up and almost shoo them away. So we welcome you back to the first National Banking Association 2017 Conference USA Baseball Championships from the MGM Park in Biloxi, Mississippi. Ron Thulin, along with Eric Bramer, glad to have you with us today. 6 outs left for Southern Miss. Won the regular season title handily, came in as the top seed in the tournament, but find themselves down 5-1. Here's Taylor Braley. He has walked, struck out, and flied out. Up high. Pitch from Bruce. That'll be a foul. Taylor Braley has done yeoman's work. Great job as the starting pitcher yesterday. Comes back to be the DH today. 1 run, just 3 hits for Southern Miss in this ball game.
They need base runners right now.
Oh, they do. Only hitting 136, 3 for 22 so far today. And they're only hitting .182 with runners on base, so they haven't taken the opportunity to push those runs across this afternoon. 2-2 pitch. Still action in Charlotte's bullpen. Got to keep those arms loose. Sharply hit. That's foul.
That goes fair. You've got a completely different
Oh,
complexion
yeah.
of the inning, but as it is, count full.
And Bruce is going to take his time. Center fielder, Reese Hampton shaded a little bit to his right. The pipe, first runner's on.
That's how it's going to have to start for Southern Miss. There are no hits that score you 4 runs without getting runners on
Absolutely.
base first.
And Wallner hit a rocket double the last time up at bat in the 5th inning. But Braley was cut down trying to score on that double. Now Braley goes to first. Here's Wallner. He's got a couple of hits and a strikeout so far this afternoon. Righty versus lefty. That'll be a called strike. Hit him.
All right.
This could change everything.
And how big does that run in the top of the 8th look now?
Coach Doty's going to have to come out and talk to him because now the fans have gotten into it. They're standing. This is a savvy Southern Miss team. They'll get on any way they possibly can.
Their only other run today was scored without the benefit of a base hit. I mean, it was the double from Wallner, but the 2 runners got on with a hit by pitch and a walk. So if that's the formula today, they're going with it.
Now they're going to make the pitching change. That's the end of Colby Bruce. He's responsible for 2 runners on base, but Bruce right now has gone 2 innings, didn't give up a run, had a walk and a strikeout. They're not taking any chances because I think the coaching staff understands you do not want to play Southern Miss in a night game and have to come back and beat them twice in one day. Maszewski checks into the lineup. Josh Maszewski, he's one of the starters at the beginning of the season that just didn't play as well as they had hoped to, so they moved him to the bullpen. He comes in with a 5-4 mark, 5.07 as the ERA. This will be his 20th appearance. 12 of those were starts. 31 walks, 59 strikeouts, so he's given up a lot of walks, but they still like this guy.
He'll be asked to get more than 1 out, but the first batter he faces will be the lefty Hunter Slater. So that might have been part of the consideration to bring the southpaw into the game here in the 8th.
Now pitching for the 49ers, number 38, Josh Matiewski.
Southern Miss still just 3 hits on the board. That 1 run coming from the Wallner double. A 2nd run cut down at the plate. They've left many runners on base, 7 so far, including runners at 1st and 2nd in the 2nd, and 2nd and 3rd in the 3rd.
And you see the numbers, 5-9-0, 1-3-2.
Here's left fielder, 21, Hunter Slater.
And Slater will make his way into the batter's box. Nobody out. Bottom half of the 8th inning. Slater has doubled, struck out, and walked in the ballgame. Inside, just misses.
A few bench bats available for the Golden Eagles, but this is their starting 9 for a reason. They're the 9 guys that they want taking important at-bats.
Pitch from Maciejewski goes to 0-2.
Hadley on deck, the lowest batting average of the starting 9 at .262. But he drove in 20 runs this season, so.
Oh, you got to be careful. Braley at second, Wallner at first. Both guys can run. I think Coach Doty and the entire staff of Charlotte, including head coach Lauren Hibbs, probably told them just throw strikes.
Have to be smart on the base paths if you're the Golden Eagles. They're in the out avoidance game rather than the extra base game right now.
Turned around like he was going to bunt, pulled it back. Evens the count at 2-2. Infield at double play depth. Wind has really picked up now. Coming off the Gulf. Maciejewski, the fans yelling balk. We've seen a bunch of balks in the tournament this week.
I think that's just a reflex at
I
this
think it
point.
is too. Maciejewski delivers. Shot down the first base line, and that is fair. Braley will score. Wallner will head to third. They're waving him on. Here comes Wallner. Slater heads to third. And it's a 5-3 game.
We've got ourselves a ball game. Sound system saying we're still in this, and ain't that the truth?
Well, it started with a walk and the hit batsman. That set it up for Slater. Maciejewski delivered the shot, and it just got inside the base, and it rolled forever. And now Hadley to the plate. The lead is trimmed to 2. Still nobody out here in the bottom half of the 8th inning.
One thing you'll notice, and it does not come into play very often, but here at MGM Park, the foul poles are actually inset in front of the wall. And that caromed around off the side of that padding might have given an extra base to Slater.
We were talking about that on Wednesday in the opening game. A lot of us were trying to rack our brains to think if we've ever seen that before.
There have been hills and flagpoles in play.
The pitch. Line shot. Another run will come in. Slater scores.
Well, the momentum has shifted as you see the base hit to left field. Another clean hit for Southern Miss. And suddenly Charlotte, they're starting to tighten up, I think.
I think so too. Cruising along, coming into this 8th inning. They've given up 3 runs on a couple of hits, a walk and a hit batsman. Maciejewski has served it up. And here comes Cole Donaldson. Still nobody out in this inning. And a runner on first. The tying run's on first. Let's see what Doty's going to do. Coach Doty's going to come out. Rally rags and the rally towels are flying on the Southern Miss side.
Regardless of who wins, this is a fun baseball atmosphere. And for the first time really all afternoon,
Yeah.
Southern Miss has something to cheer for. Their previous run-scoring hit ended in an out. So this is their chance to make the most out of this home field advantage.
And you have to take advantage of this home field advantage if you're Southern Miss. I think Matt Wallner is warming up in the Southern Miss bullpen now.
How about it?
Yes, he is. Wallner getting a couple of throws in. He has made 8 appearances in relief this season. Young man does it all. 5-4 is our score, bottom half of the 8th inning. Still nobody out. Hadley at first, Donaldson the batter. Check that. Got a pinch hitter for Southern Miss.
That's Bryant Bowen.
We talked about that early on, that he and Donaldson have alternated catching.
Makes it easy, a straight switch, we presume.
The pitch. With every pitch, the fans getting a little louder.
Bowen batting .333 this season. He's gotten 87 at-bats as a freshman, which shows how much confidence this staff has in him, both defensively and offensively.
He has started at catcher in this tournament.
He has some pop in his bat, too. 5 home runs.
Catching the outside corner. I think if you're Charlotte right now, you're just thinking, get out of this inning. You still have the lead. You still got another trip up to the plate. Problem is, by the time Southern Miss comes around in the 9th, it'll probably be the top of their order. Maciejewski with a small move to first base. Pop foul right side. Shearer giving chase. He's going to run out of real estate.
Well, it was not a stolen base situation before, but it very well might be now. The tying run at first base.
Well, Hadley's got some wheels.
3 stolen bases on the season.
2-2 count on Donaldson. Josh Maciejewski on the bump. Little bounder in front of the mound. Maciejewski comes up with it, bobbles it, can't get anybody. Tying run on second, lead run on first.
Maciejewski visibly upset on the mound, and that's not something that you want to see, even if he is upset. I think the Southern Miss Golden Eagles are smelling blood in the water right now.
And there's nobody warming up in Charlotte's bullpen. Once again, if Southern Miss wins this, we've got to do it again at 7:30 tonight. Charlotte wins, they go to the title game against Rice. That'll be played tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
If you're watching this thinking, well, who's the 49ers closer? Well, that was Jonah Patton.
Yeah,
He started today's game.
We're past him. Here's Matthew Guidry. Still nobody out. Pops it up on the bunt. That's a Christmas gift for Charlotte.
Yes, it is. If you can at least get it on the ground, you force the defense to make a play. They've shown that they're a little amped up right now. This is the best thing that could have happened to Charlotte.
Lee Marcus Boyd, the shortstop. 0 for 3 in the ball game, 303 on the season. They play Lee Marcus Boyd pretty much straight away in center, left and right. Little encouragement from Jackson Mims down at third base, trying to get his teammates pumped up. Giving away that third base line again, as they are the first base line. A little fly ball, right field, floating over. Nick Dean will make the catch. Everybody's got to run a long way back.
And
I'll tell you what, Hadley was way down towards third base.
Yeah, and I get why you do that. You want to be able to score for sure if that ball drops. And that was a tough play by Nickton going down towards the line, but at the very least, you'd like to be able to tag up in advance to third. Take another look here. Try and picture this from the perspective of the base runner. He was running full bore towards the line, and if you're the tying run, you don't want to get caught napping and end up not scoring on a play like that.
Dylan Bordeaux has been held down in this ball game, 0 for 4, a couple of strikeouts. Came into the tournament number 2 in the NCAA in hits. Can you hold him down a 5th time? First and second, 2 outs. Top of the 9th for Charlotte. It'll be Smith, Yet, and Jarrett. Jarrett led off the game with a home run on the first pitch for Charlotte. Pitch to Bordeaux. Fly ball right field. Nickting giving chase. Floating, and he makes the catch. What an inning for the 49ers. They give up 3 runs, but we head to the final stanza. They still have the lead, but it is down to 1. 5-4. Charlotte trying to advance to the conference final. We are in the top half of the 9th inning. Charlotte leading 5-4. 3 runs in the bottom half of the 8th inning by the Southern Miss Golden Eagles have tightened things up. We have a minute. Want to thank a lot of people. Amy Johnson, part of the Shuckers production team. Amy's done a great job with us, trying to make sure we get on the air. All the guys that have jumped in and helped out: J.P. Heath, Ted Alexander, Doug Ripley, Sean Fox, Eric, of course, still with us right now. Maddie Morris, who covered our sidelines, all the SIDs for the respective teams. Russ Anderson from Conference USA. My man, Taylor Brasher from Conference USA, who has been putting in about 18 hours a day. He's head of social media, and the Mean Green Radio Network, who has helped us out with our broadcast equipment. So I thank Taylor. He's got headsets on his computer. Didn't even hear a word I said. Here we go. Top half of the 9th inning. Here is Zach Smith. Singled back in the second. Hasn't been on since. And he's going up against Nick Sadlin, one of the best, if not the best, relievers in Conference USA. Just missing on the outside. So how do you think Charlotte feels right now? Sense of relief?
Well, yeah, I think there's some relief that they passed the test. Even though they gave up 3 runs in that 8th inning, it could have been a lot worse. Runners on first and second, nobody out, and they buckle down. They get the big gift on that bunt that was popped in the air. They managed to escape with the lead. they'd love to add a run here.
Sliced foul out of play. Looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth. Irby will lead it off. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Irby, Braley, and Wallner. Dubbed down to third base. Good play by Tracy Hadley. Here's Harris Yet, the catcher. Started out 2 for 2 in the ball game. Flied out to right field his last at bat. Tell you, when you have Sandlin on there too, it is going to be tough to score. We've seen him mow people down.
He has good stuff from a tricky arm angle. And he thinks about it too. You can tell when someone knows how to pitch. That separates the men from the boys at this level.
He settles in right away after the pitch, getting the ball back from the catcher. No wasted motion. Got some pop on the fastball.
Two, 3, and 4 due up for Southern Miss in the 9th inning.
Way outside.
Those are
2-1
the
to go.
guys
Yep.
that you want to bring to the plate if you need a run.
If you're going to end the game, that's how you want to do it. I think the question is, will Josh Maciejewski be back on the mound for Charlotte? They've got enough people warming up. Yet he fouls it out of play. Count stays at 2-2. Just missing on the outside. Full count. Brandon Vogler warming up. He's the right-hander for Charlotte in their bullpen. The senior. 3-2 pitch. Well, that's what hurt Charlotte in the bottom half of the 8th inning. They gave up that walk to Braley to begin the inning.
Well, you don't like to walk anyone, but especially not the 9 batter with this potent top of the lineup coming up for the 49ers.
Especially with a guy like Zach Jarrett coming up to bat. Had a big home run versus UTSA. First pitch of the ball game today, he jacked it over the left field wall. I'm sure Dad's a little nervous. Let's see, the guy drives at 200 miles an hour for 500-600 miles. Dale Jarrett, Hall of Fame NASCAR driver. He's probably more nervous now than he ever was when he won the Daytona 3 times and the Winston Cup champion. Of course, his grandfather is also Ned Jarrett, and he goes and plays baseball. Big cut. Up the middle. Scooped up by Boyd. 6-4 to 3. We go to the 9th.
It's exactly what the doctor ordered. Now the Southern Miss bats can get going and mount one last challenge. Charlotte, on the other hand, looking to seal the deal and move on to the finals.
It has come down to the final 3 outs. Can Southern Miss hang 2 on the board and force a game tonight at 7:30, or will Charlotte hold on and make it to the championship game tomorrow at 1 o'clock versus Rice? We'll be back with the bottom half of the 9th inning. It started with 8 teams on Wednesday. 1 has already made it to the Conference USA Baseball Championship final, that being Rice. Not sure who they will play. It'll be one of these 2 teams as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's a 5-4 game. Charlotte on top by 1 after giving up 3 in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's going to be interesting to say the least. Josh Maciejewski is going to stay on the hill. He got roughed up in that 8th inning. 3 hits, only 1 run was charged to him. Bruce was charged with the other 2.
But credit where credit's due. He got the final 3 outs of the inning and kept the tying run from coming in.
Here's Mason Irby to lead things off.
Couple fly balls in that 8th inning died in right field. And we'll keep an eye on that. That wind has really picked up coming in from right. Might have been a completely different 8th inning if the wind was blowing out.
Irby has walked a couple of times, got hit by a pitch, and flied out his last trip to the plate. The wind's not coming exactly in from the Gulf, blowing a little bit towards left. One and one. Jarrett playing fairly deep in left. Hampton pretty much straightaway center, maybe shading to his right. Infield deep. Irby showing patience.
That's what you need. Doesn't matter how you get on, you just want to get on here. Let your base running do the work.
Count goes to 3-1.
Now time is called down the first base line.
I know the Charlotte bench is the one that they were pointing. They were pointing to Shane Matheny, the first base umpire. I wonder if they said there was no pitch.
I did not see Irby step out to call time there, but maybe that's what happened. If the home plate umpire doesn't grant it, no, they're saying the count is 2-1.
Yeah.
If the home plate umpire doesn't grant it, it shouldn't count, but something lost in translation there.
Evidently, the first base umpire, Shane Matheny, is the one who made the call, but nobody else heard it. 2-1 pitch. It goes to 3-1 anyway. Three and two.
Turned away from that inside pitch, but no argument. Irby knows how close he is to the inside corner there. Great pitch because he can't do anything with it.
No.
The way he is in the batter's box.
Fouled out of play.
Just the slightest of a ping coming off that bat. I don't think he made good contact with that at all. Fighting it off and able to keep the at-bat alive.
Taylor Braley on deck. He started the rally in the 8th inning with a walk. He's walked a couple of times in this game. 3-2 pitch, grounded in the hole left. Southern Miss has a base runner on in the 9th. And Braley will stroll to the plate.
Irby, for what it's worth, 6 of 8 in stolen bases. You're not at that point yet. You'd like to get him over naturally if possible.
Now Harris yet walking a couple of steps out, trying to calm everybody down. Still action in Charlotte's bullpen. Nothing going on in Southern Miss.
No stolen bases so far today for the Golden Eagles.
Here's Braley. Irby 6 of 8, swiping bases. Slight lead. Maciejewski having problems getting the ball over the plate now.
For anywhere else in the order, this might be a bunt situation,
Yep.
but you don't want to take the bat out of your 3 hitters' hands with Wallner waiting on deck.
Braley pops it up right side. Shearer giving chase. Was close to getting it.
Yeah, if he had just a little bit more time, he would have had a play on it.
I think he was hoping Nichting may come out and help, or even Netzer. Netzer's the one that was closest to him. once again, that wind playing havoc with that ball.
A stiff breeze now coming in from right field. That'll come into play with Wallner,
Oh, for sure.
the left-handed hitter. Let me tell you from experience, it's almost impossible to hit a ball out to right field here when the wind's coming in like that.
1-1 pitch. Maciejewski will make sure that Irby stays close. We've only had, I think, one, maybe two, but I think for sure one home run over the right center field wall, and that was it. And that was a real lull in the wind this week in the tournament. Braley takes it up high. Rally towels flying on Southern Miss's side. The pitch. Two and two. Count goes full. Nobody out. Bottom of the ninth. Irby at first. Fly ball deep left field. Going. Kiss it goodbye. Southern Miss has forced a game tonight. Five runs in the final 2 innings. The offense was dormant for Southern Miss through the first 7 innings. They put only 1 run on the board. But the big blow, Taylor Braley, his 16th home run of the year. We talked about the wind. It was blowing strong, but that had enough power to go over anyway. That brought in Mason Irby, who started the inning with a base hit, but Braley with the dinger. And we will play another game tonight at 7:30 between these same 2 teams. And the question is, will Charlotte be able to mentally put this aside? We have seen this Southern Miss team come back time after time. Are they the team of destiny this year? I think when you look at it from Charlotte's perspective, your bullpen didn't produce the way they needed it to produce. I got a feeling these stands will be full tonight with Southern Miss fans. Scott Berry, the head coach, closing in on 300 career wins. He's got to be happy. Here's Eric with head coach Scott Berry. Eric? Now we apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm sure that Coach Barry is happy, but he also understands he's got to play another game coming up in just about 4 hours from now. But what a game this was. Charlotte seemed to be in total control ever since this game. They will have to play another tonight at 7:30. Hello again, everybody. I'm Ron Thulin. First pitch of the game to Jarrett. Another home run for Zach Jarrett. He hit a 3-run home run versus UTSA the other night. He gets a solo jack now. What a way to start. Jonah Patton did not have a chance to settle down before Zach Jarrett, the son of legendary NASCAR driver Dale Jarrett, jacks it, and that was a shot.
This is going to be a USM favored crowd, and that's one way to shut them up early. First pitch of the game over the net, over everything to left field. That was a shot.
Eric Bramer joining us here at MGM Park in Biloxi, Mississippi, home of the Milwaukee Brewers AA team, the Biloxi Shuckers. Eric, one of the play-by-play guys. Good to have you with us again, and what a start, huh?
Great to be here. This is going to be an exciting afternoon. I'm used to saying morning because we had a morning game here, but afternoon of baseball with a good crowd on hand. Here's hoping for a competitive game.
I'll tell you what, that was a shot by Jarrett, just like his shot versus UTSA, 2 for 2. As Netzer came in batting .365, gets the base hit. Jonah Patton on the mound, 1-1 on the season. He was a closer at the beginning of the year as we take a look at his pitch to Netzer. Or I should take that back. Steve Powers for Southern Miss came in at 3-0. 26 games, 1 start, 12 walks, 23 Ks. Kind of an up and down year for him. Didn't even have a chance to settle down. Squaring the bunt, fouled it off, out of play. Here's JT Nichting, the right fielder. Number 3 in career doubles in Charlotte history. Led Conference USA batting average at .380 for the season.
Southern Miss is a very good baseball team. That's been in evidence after they lost their first game. They've battled all the way back, but don't shortchange this Charlotte team. They put together the most ambitious schedule in program history, and they came out on the other side. They have earned their 4 seed in this tournament.
And they're the top hitting team in the tournament, and we already have seen that. Charlotte opened the tournament beating Louisiana Tech. Final on that game was 7-2, and then on Thursday night, Charlotte racked up another game, another win, beating UTSA. The final of that game was 5-0. They come in as a team batting .349. That UTSA game, they came out slugging. C.J. Pickering was pitching for UTSA, was doing a pretty good job, but all of a sudden you look up, and Charlotte's got a bunch of hits, home runs, and they win the ball game.
You're only as good as your starting pitcher, so it's on Stevie Powers to provide some solid innings for Southern Miss. Of course, their aim is to win this tournament, and if they are going to do so, they have 2 more games after this. They need Powers to go deep into this game.
Well, they didn't play yesterday. Southern Miss obviously did, and they had an impressive game against UTSA last night. The crowd, it was large and it was loud, and it's getting bigger right now on Memorial Day weekend. Not quite as big as it was last night, but the majority of the shirts are the Southern Miss colors. Fouled out of play for T.J. Nichting. Charlotte finished the regular season, or right now they're 34-22, finished the conference play at 18-12. Top 2 hitters for them, the first 2 hitters, have 8 RBIs in the tournament between Jarrett and Netzer. Already seen Jarrett get another one. Southern Miss has played more Conference USA tournament games than anybody else. They've won at least 1 in all 22 years they've been in the tournament. Runner goes, pitch slap to the right side. Guidry was moving over but still was able to recoup and get back. And one down in the inning, but Netzer moves over to second.
That is an underrated play by Guidry, because when the hit and run is in action, you take another look here on the replay, he was headed towards second base, and not only did he have to get back in position, he had to field the ground ball too. And it's sometimes tough to read the hops going from the grass to the dirt there when you're not looking at it straight on.
Here's how good Matthew Guidry is down at second base. He has only one error this entire season. There's Jackson Mims. Yeah, really, a second baseman. Jackson Mims, 325 on the season with a runner on second. And the fans finally got something to cheer about. 39 RBIs for Jackson Mims. The redshirt sophomore out of Shelby, North Carolina, spent some time at East Carolina. And the left-hander, good breaking pitch.
Fans continuing to stream in here. I'm guessing by the end of the second or third inning, we'll have a pretty good crowd on hand.
It was the largest crowd that Southern Miss had played in front of in this stadium. They have played in this stadium before. Popped up out of play, right side. Now Rice, they made it to the championship game. And for the sixth time in 12 years, they went 3-0 to reach the Conference USA title game. They'll be in the title game for the 9th time in 12 years, but what was more impressive, the win today earlier against FAU put them over 500. First time since the opening game of the year. Of course, it's well chronicled how bad Rice started out the season, had some injuries. Never could get it going. In April at one point, they were in last place in the conference. Now they're playing for the championship game tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
You and I saw in game one today the impact that an early run can have on a game. Rice put up 2 runs in the top of the first inning, and they pretty much took off from there.
I think we've seen it throughout the tournament that the team that strikes first gets instant momentum. Pitch. A little bit low. Count goes to 2-2. Netzer down at second. Nichting up at the plate. Leads the team in RBIs with 47 this season. Two-two offering.
Well, he's missing low, and you'd rather miss low than up. You saw from the Rice offense what happens when you miss up. Especially in this ballpark, the ball seems to be flying today.
Well, the sun finally broke through. It was a very cloudy day. It's more humid than it has been the previous 3 afternoons.
Up to 83 degrees.
Powers his pitch. Left side, Hadley picks it up, and he's going to get the runner in a rundown. The flip, and Netzer will be tagged out.
It's a well-executed rundown. The aim for Netzer once he got caught off base was to get in a rundown long enough to allow the trail runner, Mims, to get to second base. But Southern Miss executed this to perfection. They brought him back to second base, and they kept Mims from going and taking his place.
I think that's underestimated with the point you just made, is they wanted to see if Mims could get down to second, but they forced him. They forced Netzer to go back to second. Here's Logan Shearer, the big first baseman, comes in hitting .266 on the season. He's had some outstanding defensive plays in the tournament thus far. Big sweeping breaking pitch from the left-hander.
We're in the catbird seat, and we can see right down the center of the field. That ball had some lateral movement to it.
It did. 325 down the lines, 350 in the alleys, 400 straightaway center, catching the corner. Winds picked up a little bit, blowing directly in from the Gulf. And day one, the wind was blowing more towards left field. 5 home runs in the opening game. And the ball really carried. The humidity was down in that game. Pitch. Got him. Stevie Powers gives up a leadoff home run. First pitch to Zach Jarrett. And they have a great defensive play to get Netzer. We've played a half an inning. Charlotte leading Southern Miss 1-0. Welcome back to MGM Park in Biloxi, Mississippi, right across the street from the Beau Rivage Hotel and Casino and down the street from the Hard Rock. There's a good look at Jonah Patton. As we mentioned earlier this season, he was the closer. And because of injuries and players not living up to expectations, they moved him into the starting job. He's got a hard slider, pretty good fastball. He'll tap out at about 94 miles per hour. But when you talk to the coaching staff, the thing that stands out, he must control the strike zone, especially with his fastball.
It all keys off the fastball, and especially against a good lineup like USM has, he needs to establish it early, inside and outside, to keep the batters off balance.
Conference USA Player of the Year, Dylan Boudreau, got his 100th hit for this season last night. Salty hitter, comes in, batting .366. Had a big-time hitting streak up until UT San Antonio, where he was batting .486. The last 54 at-bats prior to that, strike two is called. It's pretty good Charlotte defense. In 2 games in the conference tournament, they've given up 2 earned runs, 22 strikeouts, only 2 walks by their pitching staff. Patton rocks and delivers, and that's a big strikeout, getting Berto to go down.
Certainly a better start to the afternoon than what we saw in the top of the inning. First pitch out to left field, so it's good. We'll see if Patton can continue to build off that. We've got 2 starting pitchers who don't have a whole lot of starting experience this season. Patton making his 4th start, and Powers on the other side making just his 2nd. It's a reality of playing in tournaments like this.
Absolutely. Mason Irby squared around a bunch, showed it, pulled it back. Southern Miss, number 11 in D1 baseball in the rankings, number 12 in USA Today. I think everybody agrees they're assured to go in the NCAA tournament. The question is, will they host a regional? Catching the outside corner. Good job by Patton. This is an offense, Southern Miss. 12 hits last night versus UTSA. They were free swinging, to say the least. You're wondering why Southern Miss is the home team. They were the top seed in the tournament, but they were coming from the losers bracket. It was determined the team that had the least amount of home team names. In other words, they haven't been home team enough. They're the home team today. There's a whole bunch of rules on that.
Yeah, and if we play another game tonight, I would imagine the roles will be flipped and Charlotte would be the home team. I think. I don't know.
We will definitely check on that, but if Charlotte wins, that'll be a moot point. Once again, if Southern Miss wins, they'll take about a 4-hour or so break, come back at 7:30, and if Southern Miss does win this game and they play tonight at 7:30, the buzz around here is this place will be standing room only.
I believe it.
About an hour from Hattiesburg. Southern Miss gets their first base runner on. Irby will trot down. He is a threat to steal. He's 6 of 8 so far on the base paths this season, and that brings Taylor Braley up. Number 1 in Conference USA on base percentage. You know, you look at this Southern Miss team, there's not very many weaknesses. First 5 hitters all hitting over 300, and then you go down to number 8 and 9, and they are also over 300.
It's great to have those second and third leadoff hitters at the bottom of the lineup, especially when you have speed like Boyd, who has 10 stolen bases in the 9 spot.
That opens up so many possibilities for you offensively. They also hit with power. 81 home runs this season for Southern Miss, the most since 2006. Pop fly, left field. Jarrett drifting to his right, still drifting. The wind's got it, makes the catch.
It's a great play down the line. One of the nice things about MGM Park is we have a very generous warning track area so the players can know if they're approaching the wall. Look at how big that warning track is down the line. He was feeling for a wall that wasn't there, but he knew that he had room to make that catch for out number 2.
But how far did he have to run? He was lined up just to the left of the 350 sign on the wall. That was probably a good 25, 30 yards. He had a sprint to get that. Here's Matt Wallner, a very talented freshman. All freshman team coming in batting .335. Number 2 in on-base percentage in the conference. This young man's so talented, he's been invited to the USA baseball training camp this summer. Big kid, outstanding fielder and hitter.
Kind of an interesting story. He was a highly touted prep prospect out of Minnesota. Was going to go to UND, North Dakota, and then their program folded. So USM scooped him up. He kept growing, and he's turned into quite the ball player.
Talk about a guy that fell through the cracks. He's one of them.
Minnesota Twins drafted him out of high school.
1-1 pitch. Called strike.
From Forest Lake, Minnesota. Northeast Metro, take 35 up there.
You got that down, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I did have to glance at a map to get my bearings, but I played many a Legion game in Forest Lake.
Had to be in July and August, right?
Yeah, baseball season not as
It's
long
short,
up there.
Yeah. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts for Jonah Patton in the opening frame. Does give up a walk. We go to the top half of the second. Charlotte leading 1-0. Part of the crowd on hand today, and it's beginning to fill in, especially down the first baseline, third baseline. Starting to fill up also, but it's a bright sun, not a whole lot of cover here. Temperature's supposed to hover right where we are right now, about 83 degrees, but we do have a good breeze. Coming out off the golf, Scott Wilkerson, by the way, behind the plate. Shane Matheny at first base, Michael Mazzarisi down at second base, and Ryan Broussard at third base are umpires. Stevie Powers on the mound. First pitch of the game, he gave up the home run to Zach Jarrett. As Reese Hampton will kick things off here, top half of the second inning.
You mentioned the imbalance between the lines, and part of that is the fact that USM's playing. So that one's hit to short.
Boyd pickup, throws, kept his foot on the bag, and they got him.
Really nice play there. More on first base, Bordeaux with a great pick. That's an in-between hop that can sometimes eat up first baseman. We'll take another look here. Nice play deep in the hole. The throw on a hop. You don't mind that. It was a little off target, but nice scoop.
Bordeaux's had a couple of plays in this tournament where he's had to go high and still able to get the foot on the bag. He is a complete player down at first base.
You got a first baseman who can steal 20 bases. That's
exactly. That's a great point.
Good mix.
Hunter Jones, 307 on the season, the shortstop.
But to complete the thought, that's not the entire story with the imbalance between the first and third base sides. When the shadows do come and the sun starts falling, so that one's lined into left field, a base hit. That'll be the first side to get some shadow cover. So that's where people tend to congregate during Shuckers games.
And it will come. We probably won't see it since there won't be a 4 o'clock game, and it'll be all covered up by 7:30. Hunter Jones will get to first base, brings up, it was supposed to be Zach Flanagan. Zach Flanagan is a pitcher. He was injured and was out for the year. They put him down as the DH, but they told us he's not going to bat. They just did it just to waste a little bit of time.
Seen that used in college games before. It's essentially an opportunity to put in the best pinch hitter for the situation. If it were bases loaded and nobody out, well, you might see someone different. But
Well, it's going to be Zach Smith, the freshman, normally a catcher slash infielder. He rips it down the right side. Hunter Jones will head to third. Up with the throw. Irby, but not before Jones makes it down to third. And Zach Smith comes in, gets the base hit.
Now that'll count as a pinch hit single, even though it probably shouldn't. Great piece of hitting. He knew what was coming on the first offering, and he hit it hard.
Zach Smith was batting .278. Once again, we'll clarify, Zach Flanagan was penciled in as the DH. That was nothing more than putting a name in a spot. He had no intention of batting.
I don't know if Flanagan would be able to swing a bat if he wanted to.
Well, that's from what we gather. You're right. Here's Harris Yet, the catcher, 3 of 6 hitting in the tournament. Has a little bit of a wide open stance, keeps the bat high. Kind of a lazy swing. Already 4 hits for Charlotte. Once again, if they win, there will be no other game today. As they will go to the championship game against Rice. Who would have thought that at the beginning of the week? Big breaking pitch. Powers doing a nice job on that, keeping Yet off balance. Here's a great stat about Southern Miss. They had 15 quality starts in the first 3 months of the season, but 10 of 13 in May. And in the month of May, the starting pitchers have been 9-1 with a 1.52 ERA. Here's the one that gets me. 77 strikeouts, only 14 walks. Count evens, though, at 2-2.
Strike throwers are good. Especially in the college game. I mean, it's a very underrated trait to have. You have guys who can't throw strikes, and games get pretty long and high scoring.
That's what separates Southern Miss from a lot of the teams in this tournament. They do have a number of arms. They can withstand what they have to go through. 2-2 pitch. In the dirt, here comes the runner. Jones goes to score. They got him. Got him.
And there's some disagreement on that call. We'll take another look. From my vantage point, I thought that he might have gotten the leg in.
I thought so too. Loren Hibbs, in his 25th year, over 700 wins for Charlotte, comes out and wants to talk about it. Here it is again. Boy, that is close. I think he slid the foot underneath there.
You credit Powers for sticking his right foot in front of the plate. It's getting into some gray area in terms of the rules, but he was able to shield home plate, and that might have been what the home plate umpire Scott Wilkerson saw.
Here it is again, maybe a little better angle. Still tough to see. I think the tag was a little bit up high. Now Lauren's got to go back to the dugout. And now there's 2 outs here in the top half of the second inning. In the process, though, Zach Smith moved over to second base. Yet settles back in. Full count, 3-2. Fouled out of play. One thing we got to mention, too, when you were talking about the ballpark, there's not a whole lot of room from the baseline either side or from home plate to the backstop. And we've seen a lot of times in this tournament where it will hit the backstop, but you expect it to bounce all over the place, and it really doesn't. I mean, it gives the catcher or whoever an opportunity to get the ball back.
It's a very intimate ballpark, but well padded behind home plate, save for the pitch clocks that are used in minor league baseball. So you expect a pretty true bounce coming back if it goes to the backstop.
Payoff pitch. Yet stays alive.
If and only if Southern Miss can get out of this inning, that play at the plate could be a huge momentum shift.
I think it is, because only one losing team in the tournament so far has been able to score more than 4 runs. The average score for the losing team has been just around 1.5, close to 2. Premium on scoring runs in this tournament, as we saw with Rice, who exploded in the last game. 3-2 pitch again. Looped into left field, going back, diving play, can't get it. Goes by Slater, 1 run will score, Yet will make his way down to second.
Slater got fooled by that, and I did too. That looked like it was in on the hands, but it's a testament to the strength of Yet that he was able to muscle that out into the gap, past Slater and to the wall.
I didn't think it was hit that hard.
No.
It didn't sound like it was hit that hard. Very deceiving, and Slater tried to make a diving catch, and it's 2-0 Charlotte on top. So how big was that play at the plate now?
Well, still pretty big, but at the very least, Charlotte was able to get one run on the board here in the second inning.
Here's Zach Jarrett, first pitch of the ball game. Zach rifled it out of the park. Of course, his dad, Dale Jarrett, NASCAR Hall of Fame. There he is sitting in the stands, 3-time Daytona champion, 1999 Winston Cup champion. How about this little trivia question? Dale Jarrett is also a partner with Brett Favre, who was on our air last night, with the Dale Jarrett Racing Adventure.
Very nice.
I don't see Favre sitting anywhere near him, so it's not that close of a partnership, obviously.
Shuckers' next homestand, we're doing pink jerseys to benefit Favre for Hope, and Brett, I know, is a big part of this community in southern Mississippi.
Oh, boy, he was great on our air last night. Had a good time talking with him. Jarrett fouls it out of play. 346 on the season. Had a 3-run home run versus UTSA. That broke that game open. He now has 5 RBIs in the tournament.
Righty Hayden Roberts is stretching out down the line for Southern Miss. Leash might not be too long for Stevie Powers.
Well, it is a humid day. Fouled out of play. Powers is already over 30 pitches, and we haven't completed the second inning. Yet on second after the double. Pitch to Jarrett. Slow roller left side. Hadley up with it, bobbles it a little bit. Throw, high throw, doesn't get it. Yet's going to come in. Jarrett heads to second.
That's a miscue by Hadley. Take another look here. I think he could have gotten the runner Yet in between second and third. Once he bobbled it, he knew that he was going to have to hurry that throw, and it was because he hurried that he did not deliver it accurately.
That will be an error on Tracy Hadley. That hurts. You've got to play really smart baseball in the championships. That's his 13th error on the year. And now Jarrett at second base with 2 outs, 3-0 lead. Netzer the batter. Singled his first time up at bat. 9 total bases in the tournament. And Donaldson's going to go out and talk to Powers. Kind of surprised that Southern Miss got somebody up already. On deck, TJ Nickding. Crowd getting a little restless here. Squares around the bunt, drops it down. Powers picks it up, and that will do it. But not before Charlotte picks up a couple of more runs. 3-0 is our score. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors, no runs, no hits, 1 error for USM. Welcome back to MGM Park. I'm Ron Thulin along with Eric Braber. Glad to have you with us today. Eric, one of the voices of the Biloxi Shuckers, Double-A club of the Milwaukee Brewers, play inside this ballpark. Southern Miss finds themselves down in a 3-0 hole here as we go to the bottom of the second inning. In order for Southern Miss to get to the title game, they've got to win a couple of games today. Only one time Southern Miss has won 2 games to reach the finals. That was back in 2004, but they ended up losing to TCU. So they got a big row to hoe right now. Jonah Patton doing a good job taking on Hunter Slater, the left fielder. 3:01 on the year. Patton rocks and delivers. Shot into right center field. That is going to find the gap. Slater gets on his horse, heads to second, and he'll hold up there with a stand-up double. His 9th of the year.
Great piece of hitting and also great base running, too. He could have gone for third, but he knows that you don't want to make the first out at third base. Trailing by 3, this will give USM an opportunity to put something together.
Now they're coming in hitting .275 in the tournament, but that is a lot better than it was after the first 2 games, which was around the .240 mark. As Tracy Hadley will step up to the plate, .262, 1 home run, 20 RBIs. Southern Miss can win this game today. They would tie a single season record for wins in a season in Southern Miss history with 47. Hadley takes a big cut. 3-0 lead, or 3-0 deficit, I should say, is not a big deal for Southern Miss. This is a team that can score runs, and they score them in bunches. On deck, Cole Donaldson. Hadley just held his stance on the inside pitch. We talked about in the first game how many hits batsmen we have seen, and we can see Hadley crowding the plate. Back right foot as far back as you can go in the batter's box. I don't think he's going to move very much. Patton the 1-1.
Well, if you have to wear one to get to first base in these important games, I think every player is willing to do it. And if they're not, they certainly don't want to show that to their teammates, so they'll tough it out.
He doesn't have quite the body armor that a lot of the players have. Jarrett playing deep in left field. Hampton semi-shallow in center. Everybody else pretty much straight away. Pops it up, short pop up. Nichting coming over from right field, calls it. 1 down in the second.
Well, it was a good at bat, but not the great end result that Hadley was looking for. At the very least, you want to find a way to get that runner over to third. Was not hit well enough to the right side of the outfield to advance Slater onto third base. Now it'll be up to Donaldson to bring him home.
What's going to happen here in the next couple of hours, the sun will begin to move, and every catch will be an adventure in the outfield for these guys. Donaldson, 281 on the year. Slater at second, 1 down. Tell you, this has been Chamber of Commerce weather this whole tournament. Tuesday we got here, seemed a little dicey because of all the rain you guys had down here.
Yeah, there was some concern.
Woo. In fact, they wouldn't let the players work out Tuesday on the field. They sent them to high school places to work out, hitting batting cages, which every team was very impressed with the facilities they were sent to.
Shuckers had a 5-game set against the Chattanooga Lookouts that wrapped up Monday, and Saturday through Monday, all those games were in doubt. We ended up playing with just a few delays, but yeah, we got a lot of rain on this field. Looks like it's in great shape.
When the Lookouts and the Shuckers get together, throw out the record books. I've actually been to a Chattanooga Lookout game, believe it or not.
One of the more storied franchises
Big time.
in the Southern League. That's one of the great things about experiencing the Southern League. The Shuckers don't have a whole lot of team history unless you go back to their days in Huntsville, but so many teams, the Birmingham Barons, the Lookouts, the Jacksonville, now Jumbo Shrimp. They used to be the Suns.
I want to come back in my second life and name minor league teams.
It really is a revolution in minor league baseball.
1-2 pitch to Donaldson, follows it away.
And I wasn't a huge fan of the flashy names, but
Yeah.
it certainly works.
Yes, it does.
The Jumbo Shrimp, there was a huge petition to change it back to the Suns. This is their first year as the Jumbo Shrimp, but merchandising has skyrocketed.
Exactly.
Ticket sales have gone up.
My
You see Shrimpin' Ain't Easy shirts all over Jacksonville, so
My favorite's the El Paso Chihuahuas.
that's a good one. I'm a Simpsons fan, so the Albuquerque Isotopes. That's
There you go. 1-2 pitch. Third strikeout of the ball game for Jonah Patton. 2 down in the inning. Hunter Slater opened the frame with a double, and that brings up Matthew Guidry. Take a look at this pitch again. Guidry, 4 RBIs in the tournament. He has been hot. 366. We talked about the hitters 8 and 9 batting over 300. Guidry and Lee Marcus Boyd both over the 300 barrier. Patton takes a look at the runner, taking his time. Patton looks at the runner. Just missing on the outside corner. We're talking about how potent this offense is for Southern Miss. Over 500 total runs this season. That's the first time since 2010. Looking at the Charlotte dugout, now they're trying to get guys to move over. They're getting Reese Hampton, the center fielder, to move to his left. Play more straight away. 2-0 pitch.
We have not seen too many pull shifts in either of the games today. And
No.
that's something that I see more often than not in minor league baseball. There's obviously a lot more in terms of scouting in the minor league game, but might be more complete hitters down here in terms of hitting the ball to all fields as well.
Giving Slater a lot of room at second base with his leadoff. Finally get a strike. We've seen some interesting defensive schemes, though, by coaching staffs. A couple of times we've remarked on it. As soon as we remarked how odd it was, the batter would hit the ball exactly to where the player was moved to. We went, okay, you guys are smarter than us. We get it. Patton will just step off the mound.
Now, if they didn't know this coming into this tournament, the players by now certainly are aware that there are hits to be had to the opposite field in this ballpark. The
Which
ball
we've seen a
carries
lot of.
quite well, yeah.
Guidry out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, draws the walk. Runners on first and second, 2 down here in the bottom half of the second inning. Lee Marcus Boyd coming in, hitting .303 on the season, 3 home runs,
Shortstop, number 12.
17 doubles. Pitching coach is going to come out now for Charlotte.
Nobody warming. This is just kind of a calm down meeting, if that is such a thing.
Sean Doty will come out, wants to talk about it. Got the stopwatch hanging from the back pocket. Well, there's nobody warming up, so it's more of the case, settle down, throw strikes, trust the defense behind you. More of a pep talk. Unless you see the head coach come out, you're usually safe.
There's a nice little crowd congregating underneath the shade of the right field scoreboard. Seems like the place to be.
Patton, 31 pitches, 20 have been strikes so far. Have not completed 2 innings of play yet. This will wrap it up. There are the fans out there. Nice little picnic area.
Yeah.
See the kids playing also out there. That's been a favorite spot since day 1 of the tournament. Some kids playing baseball out there. Some kids throwing the football out there.
We've had a couple Bark in the Park nights
There
for
you go.
Shuckers games. Those are always popular.
Pitch to Boyd. And all of a sudden, Patton, who had 27 walks during the regular season, having trouble finding the strike zone. Runners on first and second, 2 down. Bottom of the second. They put a little mustard on that. Boyd out of Coldwater, Mississippi. Went to Northwest Mississippi Community College. One pitch. Talk about the defensive formation. Jackson Mims down at third base. He's giving that line completely away.
And Patton is not afraid to throw inside. He's gotten a lot of
No.
swings and misses, but if a Golden Eagles batter connects on one and turns it around down that line, it could be an extra base hit.
Because you also have Jarrett playing well off the line at left field. Everybody's got to take a little time out. So much riding on this game. Charlotte wins. They go to the title game against Rice tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Southern Miss wins. These two teams will turn it around, meet again tonight at 7:30. Good job yet blocking the plate. Count goes to 2-2.
If it gets to a second game, you'd have to say that Southern Miss has the edge.
Oh, absolutely.
Behind the 8 ball here. They'd love to get on the board here in the second inning.
Tell you, this place may be standing room only since it's a beautiful night. If they do make it to that game at 7:30. 2-2 pitch. Popped right side. Nichting camps underneath it. So Hunter Slater leads off the second with a double, but he is stranded. We have played 2. Charlotte leading top-seeded Southern Miss 3-0. Already Southern Miss making a pitching change as Hayden Roberts has replaced Stevie Powers on the hump. Interesting, they went this early. I didn't think Powers was pitching that badly, but Hayden Roberts comes in, 4-2 record. This will be his 17th appearance on the season. He had 10 starts, 4.52 ERA. Are you surprised that they pulled the plug already on Stevie Powers?
Maybe a little bit, but Roberts can give them some good innings. He's made 10 starts this year, as you said, so if they're hoping for Roberts to get them into the late innings, maybe you can come back with Powers tomorrow, maybe. I really don't know, but 5 hits in 2 innings, that kind of speaks for itself. Even though they weren't all well struck, he did not have an easy time of it.
Close the book on Powers. 2 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs. 2 of them were earned, 1 strikeout. T.J. Nichting grounded out, 4-3. This time 6-3.
It's a nice way to start your outing.
1 pitch, 1 out. Doesn't
Rather
get better
than
than that.
1 pitch, 1 home run, which is how Powers started his day.
Third baseman, number 27.
Good scoop job by Lee Marcus Boyd down there at shortstop. Boyd 15 errors on the season. That led Southern Miss, but not on that one. Here's Jackson Mims. Got on the fielder's choice back in the first. That was some heat on that. That was a pop we heard up here. That's the way to come in.
This home ground's looking for something to cheer for. Maybe Roberts can provide them with that on the mound.
Mims, the 6'3", 205-pound sophomore from Shelby, North Carolina. Hayden Roberts got away from him a little bit. Well, you can afford to waste a pitch at that point. Roberts working quickly. Boyd scoops it up, second opportunity, and he makes good. So Hayden Roberts, the junior from Irvington, Alabama, and Alabama Southern Community College, playing in his second year for Southern Miss. 6 foot, 187 pounds. I love the way this young man works. Popped up, that'll be out of play. We've seen so many different paces the way pitchers work in this tournament. We have some that take forever. We've read the entire USA front page and business section by the time they threw, and others you can't even read the headlines.
Well, it's not practical to do in all NCAA games, but after 2 months of experiencing the pitch clock in minor league baseball, it's you don't really notice it until it's gone, you know?
Exactly. I kind of like it. 0-2 pitch. Got him. Hayden Roberts comes in to start the third. Couple of ground outs and a strikeout. We go to the bottom half of the third inning, but it's still a 3-0 Charlotte lead. Conference USA brings you the first National Banking Association 2017 Conference USA Baseball Championship from MGM Park in lovely Biloxi, Mississippi. Glad to have you with us this afternoon. Temperature 83 degrees. Sun's peaked out even a little more. Along with Derek Bramer, I'm Ron Thulin. And Jonah Patton doing a pretty good job so far. He's only given up one hit as we head to the bottom half of the third inning. And the top of the lineup for Southern Miss, Dylan Bordeaux. Struck out in his first appearance back in the first. Number 2 in the NCAA in hits coming into this tournament. Slow sweeping breaking pitch. 35 multi-hit games for Bordeaux. He's fun to watch. Takes the strike. He was on at second base. I think it was yesterday's game. And he was dancing around so much he distracted the pitcher. Or the pitcher had to step off the mound, but you know, Dylan was bouncing up and down and going right and left. Gamesmanship, but it was fun to watch. To third, scooped up, Mims. Long throw.
Assuming that he plays and is successful at the next level, I'll be curious to see where Bordeaux ends up. First base is a great place to have someone with speed and power. And if he can stay there, he could be an asset to a team.
I agree 100% because he does have that speed. We've seen him hit for power, and he's a smart baseball player. Here's Mason Irby. 3 for 4 last night versus UTSA. Comes in batting .336, walked in his first appearance. Follows this out of play. Irby out of Meridian, Mississippi. Southeast Lauderdale High School. Finance major, good student. This is a Charlotte team that didn't wrap up a spot in the tournament until the final weekend when they swept Marshall. Been an interesting year for Charlotte, needless to say. Still finished at 34-22 on the season. Still 0-2. Taylor Braley on deck. First 3 batters opening inning, they only got a walk out of it. That coming by way of Irby. Patton did a nice job shutting him down in the first. I thought that was pretty close, Irby going around. See Reese Hampton at center field, shaded to his right, our left.
This has been a good at bat by Irby. He's making Patton throw pitches. He's up to 40 now in the third inning.
And the temperature is up to 84.
That will be a factor, I would imagine.
I agree.
You stay hydrated in the dugout as best you can, but it can be pretty challenging.
This is the first day I think we felt the humidity here.
It's supposed to be overcast but dry tomorrow for the finale. Rice against one of these two teams.
Well, he pushes the count to 3-2. That'll be fouled out of play down the left field line. And you see the stands have filled up a little bit. A lot of families here. That's fun to see. A lot of little kids, boys and girls with their parents. I think for all of us, especially you, since your father is a major league announcer, greatest times have been in the ballpark with your family.
Oh, yeah.
3-2 pitch. Lost him.
And there's nothing quite like being outdoors.
Oh, yeah.
I unfortunately spent the first 15 years
The
of my life
Metrodome.
watching baseball indoors,
Yeah.
but to be out in the elements, especially when it's nice out like this, there's nothing like it.
Mine was the first time Cleveland, the old Cleveland Municipal Stadium, the old Indians. You know, when Woody Held played.
Mistake by the Lake?
You got it. Tito Francona, Daddy Wags, Leon Daddy Wags Wagner, and walking out and seeing that green grass. Wow. Can't remember my wife's name, but I remember that. Go figure. Ball one.
Credit to Will Larimore, our groundskeeper here. He's dealt with a nightmarish month of May. All the weather coming through at the beginning of hurricane season and a lot of games. You know, when games are played on a field, it takes some wear and tear, and they've patched it up pretty nicely.
Got to keep an eye on Irby. He's only attempted 8 steals, but he's been successful on 6 occasions.
When was the last time you did a tarp pull?
Can't. I'm afraid that's dangerous. You done it?
Oh, yeah. It's a family affair in minor league baseball.
I
We've
love
got
it.
a half dozen guys in the grounds crew, and so the front office folks have to help out. Sometimes I'm up in the broadcast booth, and I see them down there, and I'm like, well, should I run down 2 flights of stairs?